Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner and I'm here with Sean Bell.
Hello.
And Matt Murray.
Hello.
No James Farley this week. Look, James was adamant that he was going to be on tonight's show. I knew he wasn't going to be. He flew back from the UK to Germany today, and I was just thinking, just say there's not a problem. We're not bad employers, are we, Sean?
No.
We're not bad employers, mate. We understand our staff need some time off and they've got personal lives. We get that.
We are great bosses.
Right? But we are, aren't we, Sean? Yeah.
I mean, we're one of those employees that basically claims to offer unlimited time off, in that there is no strict limit on it, but also don't take the piss, yeah?
Yeah,
which is
I
fine.
don't think he's at the taking the piss level.
No, absolutely not.
We'll ask our admin guy exactly how many days off he's had in the past 12 months, but I don't think we're there yet, Sean.
No.
But I just thought, just don't even attempt it, James. You're flying back. Go and get some rest. It's all fine. But no, he was adamant that he was going to be on it until about 3 hours ago. And then we got the official confirmation, didn't we? So it's a 3-man show tonight. You got. I keep saying tonight, but this goes out first thing in the morning. So, whenever you're listening to it, there's only 3 of us. Deal with it. Right, okay.
It doesn't go out first thing in the morning, but it does. Oh, you mean
it does, doesn't it?
Well,
what time's it go out?
So, yeah, when you said that, I was like, it's going out tomorrow morning.
No, Wednesday.
It's
Wednesday.
We're
So
all right.
it's first thing in a morning.
Any given morning.
Yeah. Patreon producers for this month, they are Aaron Patrick, the QuickBooks chap, Simon Nelson, Jack Oven, Moomin Biscuit, Trans Rights are Human Rights, Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Gazman, Happy Birthday Sam and Neil, Gabsy Wabsy, Rocketman76, Rex Reese, Happy New Year Sam, Love from Neil, Grey Dragon Claw, Fred Fenge, Sensible Steve Garrett, Smooth Monkey, Happy Mother's Day Sam, Love from Dr. Farley's Sexy Fan, and Jeff Scred. They're the Full Nails crew. They are the Full Nails crew, ain't they?
They are.
You hear those names and you think, class. That's what I hear. That's what I hear. And thank you so much for supporting us at the Full Nails level. You too can join that crew. Get yourself a bit of class. Buy yourself a bit of class.
You can actually buy class.
You can, absolutely. And that's what that lot have done. Yeah. They went to patreon.com/TCGS and signed up at the Full Nails tier. But, if you don't want that class, but you still want to chip in, then there are various different tiers there, including one that gets you a free monthly bonus podcast. This month, we had a very special one, didn't we? Matt Murray got to ask Ian Lee his I'm a Celebrity questions. And we found out all sorts about the wanking cave, whether he was allowed a cheeky biscuit between takes, all sorts. So if that sounds up your street, then that's available for you now.
It was so good to get some of his questions off my chest. In like 4 or 5 years, I'm desperate to know some of these things, and yeah, it was good to.
I should point out also, it took about half an hour to get to those questions because I don't know what happened. We were just on a roll that night.
It was tangent after tangent.
Yeah, what a fun recording session that was. So that's available now. Go to patreon.com/TCGS. We have our Fishing VR night coming up. And
that needs to be soon, doesn't it? Because
it does need to be soon because it's nearly the end of the month. Yeah. But I'm looking forward to it, Sean. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to getting my rod out. Oh.
Steady on.
Penis. There are
dirty.
also TCGSCON tickets still available. You can go to... I've asked you to put this in there, Matt, haven't I?
You haven't, but
I address in there.
Surely it's obvious now. You don't need to.
tcgs.co/TCGSCon.
That's the one.
He's trying to rumble you, Dave. It's a power play.
It is, isn't
it?
He's doing it on purpose.
He's really research.
We're not going to have a pop at James, but Sean, I think it's time to bring Matt into the office for a little bit of a chit chat, don't you?
He might be right.
Yeah. Good.
Well, is it my responsibility that you don't know the URL that I say every single week?
Yes, it is. When I asked you to put it in
it's
the
not
doc.
that bad.
Matt's voice is gone because he shouted "Come on, Wilf" over and over again all day on Sunday. as he watched his team fail.
Just
to
a couple
reach
of sing-songs.
What songs were you singing?
Mostly about Super Pat Vieira. That one a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
Well, maybe we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, no, the TCGSCon is happening July 2nd. Laser Quest live show and a meet and greet. £15. I think there's about 15 tickets left. That's it. Once these ones have gone, that is it. We are completely sold out. So make sure you get in there quickly before they all go. That's it for the intro. Matt, you met up with James Farley over the weekend. Went to the FA Cup semi-final between Chelsea and Crystal Palace. I mean, we won't talk about too much because, this ain't a football podcast, but and Sean absolutely hates football, so definitely
don't
not a football
hate
podcast.
it. I just don't understand it and therefore can't
You
engage.
said anyone that's into it are subhuman scum. You've said that to me several times.
No, I just don't think you should be allowed.
And then you shouted, tweet me over again. It was really weird, Sean.
No, I just don't think you should be allowed to be a nerd and like football. I think that's unfair.
What if you're a nerd about... There are football nerds, aren't there?
Oh, I know.
Of course there are.
I'm just saying, pick one, yeah.
Pick a side.
Yeah,
Pick
but
a side.
Sean, I'm not like other nerds. I'm a cool nerd. I'm not
That's
sure if
true.
you...
Well, I don't know about that. What qualifies you for a cool nerd, Matt?
Yeah, you're right. I'm out. I'm done. I've got nothing.
Right, okay, so you met out a bit. So James is a Chelsea fan. You're a Crystal Palace fan. You had to sit in the Crystal Palace end.
Yeah.
So James that was there, surrounded by Palace fans. Chelsea won 2-0. He must have been absolutely beaming.
Yeah. Like his silly little smile when Chelsea got their goals. I mean, I could barely look at him. It was
I could do
they
a
were always going to
podcast
win.
on James Farley's smile. Have you seen it?
I have. Yeah.
Well, I don't know what's going on with that, but I could do a whole podcast, a whole show on that. Right, go on. So,
Well, because it's not his real smile, is it? That's his smiling for a
He's
photograph
falsed it.
smile.
Yeah,
I know, like we all
photographs.
do it. It's just his is extra different. I think.
It's like a little triangle. I mean, like, is that? A little triangle in his face. It looks like a me. So was it good seeing James? Any stories about James to tell before he comes on?
No, I haven't got any stories, but no, I'd love to see him. I mean, yeah, we're in amongst the other kind of 30,000 Palace fans. James didn't really care. He was on his phone at points, like looking at a Chelsea Twitter account. I'm like, James, if you maybe a little bit, be a little bit more, kind of. Just, I mean, I wouldn't have done that when I saw the Chelsea game in the Chelsea half. I was like scared I'll be, suddenly stabbed or something. But no, James didn't care. He kept saying like, oh yeah, we talking about the Chelsea team. He didn't care. I think it was up for a fight actually.
Yeah, I suppose you just feel a little bit safer around Palace fans, don't you? What are they going to do? Hit you with a balloon?
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of balloons. I mean, talking about James's smile, he was smiling a lot. Whether it's laughing at our fans, laughing at the flags, laughing at the balloons, laughing at the chants. But no, it's a lovely old day. Lovely old day at Wembley. Apart from the result.
There's nothing like a day out in Wembley. There really isn't. Oh, it's such a good... it's always a good laugh. Right, good. Glad you had a good time. Should we get back to feedback from last week's show?
Well, I want feedback from you on last week's show.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you had two people from Cane and Rinse. I was asleep with it. I lasted about 30 seconds. I fucking fell asleep. Awful. It was like ASMR on steroids, which ironically would actually be quite anti-ASMR, wouldn't it? Very, very dull show. Very boring. Didn't get through most of it. I'm joking. I'm joking. Give me that.
Did I tell you I've got Isaac saying that?
Yes, you have, and it sounds like the funny. Please
so
film
good.
it.
I need
Please
to.
film
Do you know
it.
what the best part was? The other day, he was doing it, and then he went, I'm joking, baby. and after a brief pause, went, that's the ultimate, I'm joking.
Yeah.
If it has baby at the end.
Can we do a kids say the damnedest things thing segment for a moment? Because Charlie this morning turned around and I said, where's Harry? And he went, he's playing with his bloody cars.
Oh my God.
I don't even use that word.
What cars?
Where has that come from?
Amazing.
Where has it come from? 3 years old, scary. Right, okay.
Wow. Okay.
I did have one note, and it's directed at something you said, Sean.
Oh, good.
Right. How on earth am I worse with Apple stuff than Matt? Where has that come from?
Well, because Matt does actually have non-Apple things, whereas you're
So do
a
I.
purist. Like what?
Oh yeah, name
Oh,
one.
yeah, your Beats.
Well, I mean, that's Apple.
no, but I don't use them. I actually use.
Okay.
But Matt buys a new Apple iPhone every year.
He buys
Sean.
several if he can.
Exactly.
If the opportunity
But
arises.
that's a profiteering exercise. That's not.
I haven't done that for a long time.
I would say we're all on the side of Apple, right? The three of us, right? I would say James is the worst.
James is
Right. James is absolutely the worst.
Yeah,
He gets a new
undoubtedly.
iPad. What was it? I mean, you just hear our bonus show where Chen was complaining about how many iPads he was buying. It's basically, listeners, if you think he was bad with the Nintendo Switch, it sounds like he's worse with an Apple iPad. He's got several of those things and dishes them out apparently on the reg.
A bit of a breaking news on that. Well, I mean, over the weekend, James mentioned he might have to buy another Switch for the family because one of them is starting to be a little bit defective. So,
Oh my
You're
God.
kidding me.
so if anyone has a news story, sees a news story about Nintendo's share price going up in the coming days, we know what's happened.
Oh
And-
my God, you've dubbed him in there. So he's actually thinking about getting another Switch.
Well, I guess he could get Joy-Cons, of course, but no.
What do you mean for the
He got a
family?
text from one of his family members over the weekend saying, like, this is broken, I can't do anything about it. And obviously, I saw the look in James's eyes. He's like, well, surely this means another
Did he have
OLED
that
kid into the
triangle
family.
smile on? Did that face like form into a triangle, like that triangle
Yeah, just
smile
into a
and he was
me.
thinking of like ordering another one, going straight onto the official Nintendo website.
Did it in the queue.
I would say Matt's worse for me because, right, okay, when I buy an iPhone, I just buy the iPhone. Matt will buy the official case. Like, I bet you've got one of
Yeah.
those like
Well, I need a
those
case.
circular. Have you got one of those circular MagSafe chargers, Matt?
Yeah, but I only got one recently, like Christmas.
Told
They've
ya.
been out for a year or
Told ya.
more.
Do you have
He's worse.
Do you have the mouse with the charging port on the bottom?
I don't use that mouse anymore, but I do have that mouse, yeah. Yeah, I really like the Magic
Apology
Mouse.
accepted.
It was all right. I mean, obviously the charging situation was ridiculous, but I like the mouse, you know.
Okay.
It's all right.
I like the mouse.
Well, okay.
Jesus.
Well, I think I've proved my point there,
Okay.
Sean.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that was the only comment I had on last week's show. Matt, let's hear the feedback from everyone else.
Yes, we're going to start with Attila. Please don't give up on Fast and the Furious, Sean. It has so much to offer. At 54, 21, you mentioned it making you feel old. I'm a pensioner and can safely say I didn't know what living meant until I watched Tokyo Drift. If the noises, colours and light are getting to you, do what I do. Close your eyes and imagine driving your car with Vin Diesel as the co-pilot. Love the show.
Yeah, but if I'm imagining that, it's just going to be Vin Diesel going like, "Why the fuck am I sat in a Fiat Tipo? What's going on?"
Get the nos on.
No, I am aware it's something I should try and get into, because I you know I gather they are a huge amount of fun. I was just quite bewildered with the bit of whichever one I saw.
Yeah, I think I watched the first one or two when they first came out, but now they're like an entirely different beast, aren't they?
Yeah, they're just like absolutely ludicrous. But yeah.
Fast and the Furicles. We can't. I mean, we haven't got an expert on those films. Though. That's
No.
the problem. Shame.
Shame.
Luke Summerhays. Sean's chat about wearing suits was interesting for me. Having spent a long time working shitty service jobs with uniforms, now having an excuse to wear suits is actually pretty great. That said, I can rarely relate when people talk about any degree of imposter syndrome because I'm one of those, he uses a C word, who were born with the utter conviction that I'm the dog's bollocks. Futures. Appreciate
Dog's
you all from
B-words.
Luke Summerhays.
Fair enough. No, I you know, a lot of people feel empowered by suits.
I do.
What, sorry? Do you?
I do. Yeah, I love it. Sit there and just think, I'm important. Sometimes I'm walking about. I'm an important person.
I've got a
I mean, I
suit on.
very rarely wear them.
It was. I remember
yeah.
the first time I had to take. So in my current job, and I had to go to a meeting down in London. So I wore. It wasn't like a proper suit. It was like smart trousers, and then I had like a shirt, and then just like a sort of linen blazer over it. And I went to the shop in the train. It was a Virgin train. Remember those?
Yeah, I do.
And because it was like 8:30 in the morning, and the guy said, guy served me, and he said, have a good day at work, sir. And I was like, what the fuck? What's going on? I can't handle it.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Cheers, champ.
Yeah.
Is that what you said? What was your reply?
I can't remember.
Off.
I probably just went,
Don't talk to me.
You too, mate.
That does not sound like the voice of someone who's wearing a suit, Sean. You'd be like, you know what?
No.
Cheers. And then slip a $5 in his, but I don't know. I don't know how it works.
And walked off.
Yeah, you're supposed to just slip a $5 in the pocket, aren't you?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think that's how it works. Yeah, on that
No one
subject,
told me.
I absolutely hate being called sir in like a restaurant or a shop.
Freaks me
I
out.
was like,
Why?
I'm
I demand it.
wearing trainers and skinny jeans. Don't call me sir. Like that's not needed. I just don't. I feel uncomfortable when you call me sir. It's like not
I
needed.
wear a name
at
tag
all.
that says, "Hi, my name is. Please refer to me as sir."
Please call me sir.
Show me a bit of respect. That's all I ask for.
You're talking
I
to the guy
demand
with a
it.
$4,000 suit. You can call me sir.
It's weird because like when I did work in catering, like I call people sir or madam, like no bother. It's it's not like I'm thinking, I should show them the proper respect and give them a good title, so that it doesn't even factor into it. You just feels like you're just being polite. But yeah, when you're on the receiving end, it's like, no, don't do that. Don't call me sir.
I just
It's
think
weird.
like this isn't Victorian Britain. You don't have to call me
exactly.
sir. I'm
just
not master of
necessary.
the house, or whatever. Just
Yeah.
don't refer
You
to me.
guys need to respect yourself a little bit more. I think that's my.
I do
that's
respect
my
myself. I'm just aware that I'm not, borderline royalty.
Yeah, sir. Come
I am.
on.
Podcasting
National
royalty.
treasure.
Yeah.
Is how they'll describe me when I'm gone.
Yeah.
Good point.
Not if we're doing the eulogy, but go on.
Speaking of C words. God.
Dylan, hi gang. A quick note to say I enjoyed last Wednesday's show with the two main ones and the other two main ones. I was wondering how the show would work with just the two, but you two had some main ones on the Know About Games. I'm happy to throw you and the other show a couple of chunks each month. Glad I found your show and glad you introduced me to the other. Looking forward to Sega Dude and News Goblin's return to the panel. Cheers from Dylan.
Well, Dylan, there's a lot of contradictions in that email there, Dylan, isn't there? One about, they're rubbish, the other two, can't wait for them to come back. Have a good old think about what you really want, Dylan. All right? Do you want us back or not? Probably after this one, probably not. But still, it's good to be back. It's good to be back.
Yeah, no, it's good to have you back. Gary Dutton, with regards to Matt's meaty claps, I also do this to mark the victory of some kind, usually following a satisfying Street Fighter win. Final round, I catch my opponent out with something cheeky, tasty combo for the KO, and then followed by a meaty clap. Well, I'm glad I'm not alone, Gary.
See, I feel like my version of that is a thigh slap rather than a clap.
Would you thigh slap?
Does Gary Dutton play fighting games then?
First I've heard
he's never mentioned it before, but
yeah, I was surprised. I thought he would have mentioned it before.
Yeah,
but
he's kept that
I think
quiet,
that's
hasn't he?
the first time.
Hey, Sean,
can we hear one of your meaty claps, Matt?
No, it's not going to work well over Discord, and no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to have it recorded. It's something just
Whoa.
between me and the clap.
I did not expect that to be the response. Did you, Sean?
no. It's like when you have someone to do like an impression that they're good at, and they're like, no, I'm
How
not. I can't
weird.
just do it on command, can I? I can't just.
Yeah. How weird. I mean, I can only assume that you actually do really shit claps. and I've put you on the spot and you've bottled it.
It's more about, it's not about...
No, actually, Sean, I'm not going to do it because it's not going to sound good over Discord. And actually, the shit, we record locally. Forget about that. And,
Matt, it's your edit. You can make the clap sound however you want.
No, I'm going to find a really good clap and then just add that in.
Well, just put it in.
What you do is, just go, right, hang on, I'll do the clap now, and then just put like a nuclear explosion,
An
like
audience.
glass shattering and stuff.
No, I was thinking like an audience, 1,000 people clapping. Yeah, no, that's just me. That's how it sounds.
Yeah, I can throw the sound around the room.
I just got a feeling that when Matt claps, right, he cries because he like breaks a bone in his hand,
the
right,
skin a
every
bit.
time he claps because
Possible.
of really brittle bones in his hands, right, and he's sitting there and he's just wishing that he could clap. So, just out of turn, last week he was like, I can do great claps. I could do it. And then when Jill was on the bonus show, he said, tell everyone that I keep clapping because I want people
Making
to
it a
believe
thing.
that I'm a
Making it a
clapper.
thing.
Make it a thing. It's my thing.
It's not a thing. It's just, I mean,
I can't
clapping
wait.
yesterday. What a lovely day it was. Clapping in the sunshine. It doesn't get much better, does it?
Well, you weren't doing much clapping on.
We were doing loads of clapping.
It should have been booing, mate.
A lot of Chelsea that did nothing.
Do you do the thing where you sort of cup both hands so you get like a bigger?
Oh, of course
clap?
I do, Sean.
Yeah.
No, he does a gove. You know, he does it like gove
Oh,
claps.
God, yeah, that's the one of the scariest claps of all time.
Do you know, Matt, July 2nd, standing up. That's the big finale
Oh
to
my
the
God.
live show.
What,
Matt
just one
does
clap?
one of his
One single
thunderous
clap.
claps.
Oh my God, so
single
one clap and all the lights go out and that's the end of the show.
Yeah, boom. Yeah, but the claps really, it sounds like this. What was that? That's pathetic. You sort of like half miss it like that.
Yeah. Maybe that. That is it for feedback. Go to tcgs.co/dear TCGS to leave your feedback.
Okay, news. Sean, let's go.
I mean, I should declare up front, because I don't want to be accused of plagiarism again, that James did put these together for us very kindly.
I want to distance myself from the shit ones.
Distance myself
just to
from
let
it.
you know.
Should also say I had a really bad bedtime with Isaac, so I have skimmed these at best. But yeah, first story is that basically, yeah, so the developer of Oddworld, Soulstorm, has claimed that putting the game on PlayStation Plus was, quote, devastating for their sales. So this was Lorne Lanning, appeared on the Xbox Expansion Pass podcast, and basically, you know, it was very clear that it wasn't like any sort of malice from Sony or anything. It was just the fact that so they agreed to put the game on PlayStation Plus as a PS5 exclusive PS Plus game, and you know they had agreed a fee, which obviously, you know, is not disclosed, but
Why not?
Well, because it's
Tell us how much.
uncouth, isn't it? I assume it's written into the contract because no one ever talks about how much they get for these things.
Tell us how much. You've got to be bitching and moaning about it. Tell us how much.
But yeah, basically, this was on the understanding that, you know, in their sort of planned release window, there was only about 20 PS5s doing the rounds. But then the game got delayed to April 2021, by which time a lot more PS5s were around. And yeah, and it basically ended up that, you know, millions of people downloaded it on PlayStation Plus. Whereas, you know, the developer feels they accepted an amount of money on the understanding that way fewer people were going to be able to download the game for, you know, not for free, but as part of their subscription. And yeah, and supposedly, you know, obviously it didn't sell very well, and Lorne is sort of blaming that on the PS Plus arrangement. However, there's a number of additional factors here. My understanding is the game wasn't very good, wasn't received particularly well.
Oh, I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, I seem to recall reviews not being brilliant, and you know, and like, but he also mentions that, like, basically, they were struggling for funds to get the game finished, and it was the PlayStation Plus money was what allowed them to complete the project. So it feels a little bit uncouth to sort of turn around and be like, "Oh yeah, that was the worst decision we could have made," or whatever.
Yeah, I find it very strange.
It kind of sounds like you should have thought about these, you know, variables going into a contract like that. You know, the game could be delayed and it could get to a point where lots more. I mean, I'm pretty sure when they signed a contract or whatever, you wouldn't know how many consoles they had ready to go on launch anyway.
Well, yeah,
you know what I mean?
like
getting it.
Yeah,
it's weird. This was a weird rant, and you know, I'm sure he's got a very valid point. Like, I'm sure he has, right? Because he knows the business way better than we do. And he knows what his projected sales were way better than we ever could. You know.
Yeah. So
I'm not here to diss the fella, but when I read it, I thought, you're not putting your point across well enough here, because it just sounds like you're saying, well, 5 million people downloaded it, and that could have been money.
Yeah.
And you want to go,
well, yeah, because that's the other thing, isn't it? Yeah, it's the sort of that sort of false equivalency between, you know, someone downloading it on PS Plus, like, you know, counting that as a lost sale. It's like, you know, the argument we always used to hear about piracy. It's like, oh, it's like 10 million people pirated this game, that's 10 million lost sales. Well, probably not. It's not that simple. So yeah, they're a victim of the landscape having changed from the game's initial projected release date to its actual one. And it is hugely unfortunate, and I can understand the frustration. But yeah, the way it's sort of presented, and this might just be how other outlets have picked up on, is that we should really actually listen to the podcast, and maybe it comes across differently there. But yeah, obviously the headline that's come out of it is that PlayStation Plus was devastating.
But obviously their expectations for sales were between 50,000 and 100,000, and then having 4 million downloads, as you said, that does mean why, and we should have asked for more. I mean, obviously the PS5s are hard to get hold of, but they'd still sold millions, in those opening months. So, and I think you're totally right. Ultimately, they needed the money to finish development anyway.
Yeah.
So, it's a weird one. It's a weird one.
Well, I hope at the very least that it hasn't damaged the studio too much, and that they've learnt from any lessons that they could have from signing that deal. And hopefully, they work out how to avoid that in future. But very, very strange article, really. Yeah, and you're right. Maybe we should have checked the podcast out to see how he put his point across. But
James would have done that. If James was here, he definitely would have done that.
100%.
Okay.
The next story is that Microsoft is once again considering including in-game advertising, according to a report from Business Insider. So this is in the mold of. So do you remember? I remember Skate 3 did it. One of the Mercenaries games did it. So it's like in-game sort of billboards and stuff.
Right. I don't mind that.
I didn't hate it as much. I mean, maybe it'll hit different now that, like, how obviously we all feel like our phones are spying on us and stuff with how ludicrously targeted like marketing
they definitely are. Yeah.
I don't know if I would find that more icky now, like that stuff being put in a game, than I did 10, 15 years ago.
Do you remember it in Burnout Paradise?
Well, yeah.
You imagine the uproar there'd be of Burnout Paradise, because Burnout Paradise literally had advertising for Obama in it, didn't it?
It did, God,
that's right. Yeah.
Barack Obama in it. Yeah, like his campaign was like. Could you imagine if that was like that happened now?
I'm
sure there was like people were kicking off like beforehand, like at that time, but now it just feels like it's even more. Of man, people would go absolutely apeshit if there was a political campaign put into a video game now. It'd be mad.
I mean, I remember laughing because I played. So it was Mercenaries 2. I played, back in the day, but like years after it came out. Got it for for a $5 or whatever. And I remember just laughing because all the billboards were for that Wolverine film, which was also years old by that point. So that was obviously they were just the last people who paid to have an advert put on, and there's no point changing it now. So it all sort of died a death back in the day. But yeah, Microsoft looking at bringing it back for free-to-play titles. I don't know.
I mean, it's pretty shit, but like, let's see how it's done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I first read this, I thought, oh no, is it going to be just like a menu?
Yeah.
And then in the menu, it's like it says, "There's been games like that." I think I think they got away with it a lot in the Fight Night games, where sometimes you would like load up a menu and it would say this menu is sponsored by fucking, I don't know,
Domino's,
Mountain Dew or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, like in American sports, everything is sponsored by something. I mean, like the halftime could be sponsored. Like even like the goals is sponsored by EA Sports, whatever. So that. In American sports, that kind of makes sense and people are used to it. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see that in games where it's like this menu is sponsored by. So you say in the Fight Night games that was actually happening.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was, if I remember correctly. If I think back to like round 3 or whatever, they used to have things like the in-game menus were sponsored by Burger King. Or those games were full of fucking advertising. Though it was crazy. The fucking Burger King was a fightable character. He was a boxer in it. Oh no, he wasn't. He was a trainer. He was like the best trainer in the game. So you'd Famously. Be like. Yeah, the whole point was that you made yourself as a boxer and you started off in the clubs and it was trying to be all realistic. It looked stunning as well for the time, trying to be all realistic. But if you wanted the best trainer, suddenly you would have the Burger King in your corner, like G'ing you up between rounds. It was so weird. That was so weird.
I remember
Burger King is not only a boxing trainer, he's also great at sneaking. I mean, this guy is a lot of very incredibly talented.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was different. That was a game in and of itself, though, wasn't it? It was, you could avoid that completely.
Yeah.
But
no, because I remember with Skate, I think 2 and 3 avoided this, but certainly the first game, there was as you sort of went through your career, it would introduce you to famous skaters, and as it was, showing you a skater, it's like, and here's the brand of boards they use, and these are the trainers they wear, and here's whose t-shirts they're wearing, and it was weird because it felt icky, but also that's so if you're a professional skateboarder, that is how you make your money mostly. Obviously, there are other ways, but sponsored, people being sponsored is a major thing.
Yeah, massively. Yeah.
So it was kind of I get it, but also it does feel a bit weird. But then also I went out and eventually bought some Adidas trainers that I'd seen in the game, so I'm part of the problem.
Right. But then I think for that it makes sense because that's part of the culture. The Fine Eye one makes sense because watch boxing on TV and his dad's everywhere. That makes sense. I think
that, but have a look at the 3 images I've just sent you of the Fight Night game. Once you've upgraded to the best trainer in the game.
Yes,
it's a little bit out of place.
Yeah, it's got
a massive head as well.
Yeah,
it's got a massive head. And I used to think, the billboards in Burnout Paradise made sense because billboards advertising around the city, that makes sense. It's when it starts to creep into other games where it's a billboard would never even be here. So this doesn't make sense, but we'll see. I'm not surprised they're doing it, but let's just see how well it's implemented, I reckon.
Well, like Kirby or something.
Yeah, or Gears of War.
Yeah, but no, wasn't there weird stuff in like Death Stranding?
Oh, I don't remember. I know there was famous people.
Wasn't it Red Bull that he would just sit and drink Red Bull or Monster or something?
He would drink an energy drink that was exactly like a Monster.
Yeah.
Wait, exactly or it was?
No. I think it was
Literally
Monster.
Yeah. That's weird because that's because I say it's one thing in something like Burnout Paradise where it's a fictional city but it's basically real, right? It's a normal real life city, whereas putting brands that we know in something like Death Stranding feels incredibly weird.
Yeah, I just imagine the new BioShock game, not BioShock game, the new Mass Effect game. Where they land on a planet and they go, they have Coca-Cola here too. That's refreshing.
What's an original taste?
I mean, you could almost, so if you were doing a sort of sci-fi sort of dystopian thing, you
must show the aliens what lilt is. Please explain that it's the totally tropical taste.
You could intentionally be doing a joke about how massive corporations have actually survived, the next 300 years better than nations, for example, or governments or whatever. But even then, I don't know, that would feel like a stretch. That would feel like something you'd written so you could take some Coca-Cola money. I don't know.
I'll never forget when I first watched product placement videos, compilations from America. And it was are you taking the absolute piss? And some of them are even in shows that I've watched, and I just think, oh my god, how did I not turn off the moment I saw that?
Yeah, recent Bond films have been really, really bad for this. I mean, obviously Bond is using his Sony Vaio laptop, and it's got Heineken's or whatever it is in the background or in foreground in his watch. It's really bad. But if I worked for the drink Umbongo, I would do whatever I could to get that into a game. So Mass Effect lands on a new planet. This is the Umbongo to drink it in there.
Is that still?
I mean, I don't know, Dave. I'm not going to check. Let's assume it is.
Okay. And, I mean, A, is it still going? B, did they ever drink it in the Congo? I'm betting not.
They absolutely didn't.
No.
They absolutely didn't.
Well, I want a Netflix documentary series that really delves into that.
Sure. So you're fundamentally against massive sponsorship or product placement in games, right?
I mean,
what if it was nourishment?
Oh,
Sean,
shit.
What if it was nourishment?
I mean, well, let's face it, they haven't got that sort of money to throw around. I don't know.
What if they haven't got any money, Sean? Because they've been saving all because that's going to be the drink of Dragon's Dogma 3.
Oh my god. Well, that's make Dragon's Dogma 2 first.
Oh, right. I wasn't sure if that was out. I was like, let's just add a third one.
I mean, that would be a very Dragon's Dogma move to just be like, oh, there isn't a second one, here's the third one. I would enjoy
and it's
that.
Full of nourishment.
And it's sponsored by Nourishment. And you drink it to like, I was going to say like to increase, like, to like
dragon.
heal yourself, but no, it'd be like a full like buff to all your stats for like half an hour.
But then you throw up like 10 minutes after,
and
then all your buffs are gone.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Although it gets to a point in the game
energy.
where they're like, sorry, you've drunk 30 cans of Nourishment, I'm afraid there's like, you get some sort of terminal illness from it. Something like that.
But please enter your email address here and you get 10% off your next can.
Anyway, Microsoft considering in-game ads, right?
Yeah,
that's
a grey area, I think, is where we've landed on that. So Hideo Kojima tweeted just a picture with the PlayStation Studios logo with all the characters on it, including Norman Reedus in Death Stranding. And so everyone went nuts. Someone was like, oh my god, does this mean Kojima Productions has been bought by PlayStation? And then he just quote tweeted it saying, I'm sorry for the misunderstanding, but Kojima Productions has been and will continue to be an independent studio. So what's that all about?
Weird.
Obviously, before this, like he was basically just responding to the fact that everyone was already speculating because people seen that image on the Sony Studios website.
Oh, right. So is that where it... Right.
Yeah, it was... Yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, he didn't make that. He wasn't just saying, and us. Like, he didn't misunderstand it and look at that and go, actually, we had an exclusive on PlayStation as well, so I'm just going to add it and tweet it. Yeah, no, it was on the Sony official website, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's on the PlayStation Studios website, and then people noticed, hang on, why is Sam Bridges on this? And then that's when everyone's like, oh my God. And then when I saw he tweeted that, I was like, here we go, it's confirmed. And then he then said, actually, no, by the way, no. It's quite weird.
Do you want my prediction?
They're going to be acquired.
Yeah. That's exactly what's going to happen.
I mean, but it's going to be like, obviously, it'd be the same as like the Bungie one, won't it? Where it's like, yes, technically we're now owned by PlayStation, but we're still operating completely independently. So what Kojima said is not a lie, but yeah.
No, but I'm just saying like that he probably got a bollocking for tweeting that thing and saying, I know we fucked up, but can you shut the fuck up until we've officially announced it? Because I think that's what's happened.
I mean, yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, I mean, but people saw there's like a leaked Blue Point image with Sony PlayStation Studios like a month or 2 months or a fair few weeks at least before the official acquisition news. So I reckon it's just happened. It's just happened. I reckon it's happened again. Or the other people saying, "Oh no, the things on the website are actually titles that are exclusive to PlayStation that are being published by PlayStation, and that counts as being a PlayStation studio,
right?
Even though they are independent studios.
Okay,
but it's all
Who
a bit
said
weird.
That? Stop talking to him. It's incredibly dull. Get new friends.
I'm just saying all those titles there in that image were like published by Sony, but does that count as like a Sony studio? Not in my book.
I want to know where you heard that.
Just read it, innit?
Kind of funny.
Just read it on the internet.
They probably did mention it actually. But I think they were probably mentioning someone else saying it. But anyway, I mean, it is weird, but it does seem like I wouldn't be surprised if again this was confirmed. When I saw that, I was like, well, no surprise at all. But he was just not confirming it.
I love it if they did this as like a big announcement, and everyone was like, well, yeah, clearly, come on. Yeah, I'd love that. Right, next.
CD Projekt Red have announced that the next-gen port of Witcher 3 has been brought back in-house, but has also been delayed, quote, until further notice. Well, yeah, so initially I was like, I mean, so this is pure speculation, but the port was previously being worked on by Saber Interactive, who did the Switch port, and they are based in St. Petersburg in Russia. So, yeah. So they've declined to state if that's anything to do with it. I mean, I can't see any other reason why CD Projekt Red would choose to give themselves more to do. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, considering they've all but confirmed that, Witcher 4 is on its way, Cyberpunk is much improved from release, but still, like...
I mean, they have confirmed Witcher 4
they sold 14 million copies of that.
Did they?
Yeah, I read that in a week.
You know, sorry, mate, you're
mad, isn't
absolutely
it?
right. They did actually confirm it, didn't they? Witcher 4 they posted that teaser and stuff.
Yeah.
They did.
So yeah, it seems like this is a decision they felt they had to make. For like, it doesn't make any sort of logistical sense for them to bring it in house, because they're already really fucking busy. So yeah. A bit of an odd one. I mean, it's Witcher 3 Next Gen is such a strange one, because on the one hand, it probably is just like money on the table waiting to be made.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But also, every time this sort of comes up in the news, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that's happening. And the worst part is, like, you know, I shrug every time this comes up, but when it's out, I probably will check it out, because I never finished the Blood and Wine stuff, and I would love to have an excuse to go back and do it. So
yeah, it depends how accessible. Like, these upgrades, they really do need to make sure that they, you know, transfer your saves, all that sort of stuff. It's not too expensive to upgrade.
Yeah,
you know, there's so many different things that they need to do to make sure that that's actually going to keep your interest. Yeah. We'll see what happens with that. It looks like it's not happening now anyway.
Yeah, I mean, delaying it indefinitely. I mean, I think that, I mean, a lot of people can read into that and say, well, it's just never going to happen. But obviously, CD Projekt Red have been burnt with delays and Cyberpunk this and all that sort of stuff. So them delaying indefinitely just means that they probably just can't get anywhere near a date that they're happy and confident with. Yeah, I mean, I think anyone else that might mean it's not going to happen at all. But I think for them, they need to make sure it 100% comes out when they say otherwise. That it's too risky for them.
Yeah.
Well, I can only assume that this means this project's on hold until either the conflict ends and relations improve, or they find an alternative place to get this developed.
Yeah,
possibly, yeah. But as you say, it's more just about a lack of clarity rather than, oh, this is going to take forever, we're not even giving it a date. I think it's just, like Matt says, I think it's just not being able to give a clear date. And as you say, because of the way they've been burned in the past, they don't just want to, guess and be wrong.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. That's still on my list to do, though. Cyberpunk really is. I've got so much to get through before I get to it, but the bit that I played just before Horizon came out, I was like, okay, I'm in now. So I'm desperate to get back to it at some point, but yeah, okay. That it?
That is it.
I suppose we better talk about what we've been playing then, should we?
Do you want to go, Dave?
Should I go first?
Yeah, go on. You missed the week.
Wasn't it? Was it? I've mainly just been playing Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga,
oh, yeah.
And I mean, it's okay. I think overall, I think I'm a little bit disappointed with it.
Really?
Because, look, my history with Lego games, I've not played that many of them. I did play Lego The Incredibles an insane amount. Because I think what Lego games do sort of click with me there. Yeah. It was like, get through because it was based around two movies, that one. That was Lego. It was based around The Incredibles and The Incredibles 2. And then once you got through the story stuff of that, it was like you had this big open world to go and explore. And then you had things to collect within that open world. And then you would have special builds that you could do that were based on other Pixar movies. And in the end, I think I went through and 100%ed it or something. I'd certainly unlocked all the Pixar buildings and all that sort of stuff. And I was sort of like really blown away with how the game, once you'd finished it, goes, okay, you can literally just fuck about now. Like, here are characters that fly forever. So you don't have to, like, drive and get out. And, like, even half of the puzzles were like, how do you climb this building? Well, just fly to the top now if you want. Do you want an ability to just, like, highlight where all the collectibles are? Then there you go. And here you're now insanely magnetized. So, what was it? It was, you could turn on that your character was like basically a magnet for the studs, but also that you just needed to touch something and it would explode rather than like hit the melee button. So you would just like walk around and everything would just explode around you, and loads of these studs would like get come into you. It was nuts.
But all that stuff sounds great. For like that, to me, says they're helping you clear stuff up in the end game, or if you want to like make stuff easier once you finish the story. Like all those skills sound great. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just fun. Like, it was just fun, right? And it feels like with this game, I've been trying to get to that rather than enjoying the story mode, because I think, like, really, I feel a little bit disappointed because I thought this was going to be a big change in direction for Lego games, but really it isn't. Like, this is very similar to the Lego games that I've played before. It's just the camera is a little bit more over the shoulder than those games, you know, whereas those games, it was very much fixed camera, you know, it's sort of like an isometric view, sort of. It would pan about a bit, but like, you've still got the problems with it being not always entirely clear with what it wants you to do, with some of the puzzles just being a bit like, not convoluted, but it's just kind of like, what am I looking for here? What do you need from me as a player to get through this bit? Because I don't get it. I don't get what it's not signposted well enough. It doesn't feel solid enough. There's, you know, the combat is just pretty basic. That you repeat things over and over again, you know, like the hacking mini games and this, that, and the other. Like, all the boss fights are essentially the same. Have you noticed that, Sean?
I do know. I'm not sure I've done any.
Yeah, so you fight Darth Vader, you fight Darth Maul, you fight even like Anakin Skywalker, you fight, and they're all the same boss fight, like exactly the same. Right. And you know, that's just the combat bit. I'm talking about referring just the combat in those areas. Like, of course, different things happen along that fight because you're in different areas, and it's trying to show you different things from the films. Yeah. But like the actual fights are essentially the same thing.
But as someone who hasn't played these games before, I was under the impression that this was like a massive departure. It was way more complex in terms of the style of combat or the things you can do combat-wise. Is that not the case then? Like, that massive skill tree, is that not like a big new thing?
Like, the skill tree is, I mean, I've barely touched the skill tree. And the main part of the skill tree is the core abilities that you're updating, and they're all in old they're done in different ways, but they're in the older Lego games. So it is things like, as I say, you can run faster, the studs get magnetized to you and all that sort of stuff. That's the stuff you're upgrading. That's the stuff you should focus on when you're upgrading, because the other stuff, like, you can upgrade Jedi abilities and, you know, Sith abilities and stuff like that, but I haven't really looked into that too much. So I've completed the original trilogy, I've completed the prequels, and I've completed the what's the episode 7?
Oh, Force Awakens.
Force Awakens. Yeah. So I've completed episode 7. So I've got like 2 more episodes to do. It's funny. I was listening to Filthy Casuals, which is a great podcast, by the way. If you've not checked that out, it's a Australian gaming podcast. It's really good. They've had some interesting things to say about this game. One of the things they said was that it's about an hour per episode. It is definitely not. Like, I'm finding it to be closer to 2 hours per episode. Like, I've put a lot of time into this.
I was going to ask how long they last. Okay.
Yeah. But one thing that I do agree with them is that it's like, it's essentially like reading a comic, but it's not a bad way of experiencing these films. Like, really, I know it sounds stupid, but to just go through these films and go, I remember these bits.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's slightly different. It'd be, I wonder how they do this bit in Lego.
Yeah.
And then you see it and you go, oh, they did it. And then you'll be walking like down a hall and go, I remember this room. Oh yeah, look, there's Count Dooku. There we go. That's that bit, isn't it? I remember that bit from the film. Like, and that's not a diss. Like, that's a good thing, and it's kind of getting me through it. Like, I'm enjoying my time with it, despite its failings, I think. And I am enjoying the music and enjoying the space. Like, visually, it's absolutely stunning. Like, and I'm sorry to say this, Matt, like, I know you were talking about how disappointing it looked on the Switch.
Yeah.
You absolutely should have got this on one of the
I regret
PS5 or Series X. It looks incredible. Like, the environments in particular. I mean, I know this sounds right. Okay, the prequel films are far better looking, like, in terms of visual design, than the other two, right? Than the Disney films and the original trilogy.
Okay.
I think that really drums it home in this game, because when you're playing the original trilogy, you're like, okay, we've got an interior shot, we've got deserts, we've got, there's nothing that blows you away, right? Then you go and do the prequels, and you're looking at some of the fucking cities and the Jedi temples and even the fucking lava world and all that shit. It just looks absolutely pops.
Yeah, man.
And you don't have to deal with the horrendous love story that goes through it. It's more fun to play the original trilogy in this than it is to watch those films. So, I mean...
Wait, when you say the original trilogy, you mean the prequels?
Oh, sorry, the prequels. The prequels.
Yeah.
The prequels. No, the original trilogy is great. No, the prequels. There's some good gags in there, but I don't think that it is massively funny throughout. Like, I don't think the writing is totally spot on. I think there's some technical hitches that really show that they had to push this through towards the end. We know that it's had a troubled development, and you'd mentioned it last week, but that intro to this game is, even if you've got no interest, if you're a Star Wars fan but you've got no interest in playing this Lego Star Wars game, do yourself a favour and watch that intro to this, because it is fucking phenomenal. Like, it's so well done, but there's some like fucking frame dropping and stuttering in it, especially the bit where it zooms out, the big bit at the end, and it becomes the main title screen. When it zooms out, it drops a few frames, and you're just like, that's so like frustrating, because it's so beautiful, that whole intro. That the fact that there's a couple of technical hitches in there really fucking makes me go, no, this should be like legendary. This should be perfect. But it kind of feels like it fails. I've had crashes, like 3 or 4 crashes to the main dashboard. I've had a bit where a camera just got completely stuck in scenery, and I couldn't do anything without. It was in the middle of a fucking boss fight, Sean. And I was on the last phase of a boss fight, and the camera got caught up in a bit of scenery, and that was it. So I had to reboot it and then do it again.
Jesus.
So yeah, there's a lot of shit, right? And maybe I shouldn't focus it on too much on that stuff, because I think ultimately I've loved just sitting playing through it, and a lot of the times I'm sitting there playing on my own while Harry's watching or whatever, and he's laughing at bits that he remembers, and we're chatting about the films again because we haven't watched them for a couple of years, and it's just piquing his memory and stuff. And then other times, like, I'm sitting playing co-op with Charlie, and the co-op is incredibly well done. Like, in terms of, I'm surprised it's in there. I don't know if you feel that, Sean, but the areas themselves are massive, right? And you can travel to different areas within that sort of hub
last
world.
week, wasn't I? Yeah, because I was putting off because Isaac wanted to fast travel somewhere else, and I was like, no, mate, because it'll take us away from here. And then found out it actually didn't at all. It just let him go to this other area, like, separately from me.
Let him go to where he wanted to, and then you'll just continue doing your thing. And Charlie goes off and does his own thing, obviously. He's not following anything that's going on. But the moment it pops up on his screen, continue the story mission, he knows to hold down A and then win the next bit. Even the bits in the space like the space battle bits, you're like, okay, it's just 2 fucking spaceships. You know what I mean? I mean, it does lead to some really funny moments, right? So the who was it? It was Yoda fighting the Emperor, but also that character, what was his name? Typhu or something? Captain Typhu or something? Was there also there?
I can't remember. Go on. I've not played that bit of the game yet.
Come on, Master Yoda. No, what I'm saying is that he's like an actual character from the films, but like a real sort of character in the background. Like, he's not an important character at all. But all of a sudden, because you need a co-op partner at all times, even if you're playing this in single player, he's there with Yoda going, come on, Master Yoda, you must get him. Like, what is he doing there? We had a funny moment where we were just doing a little bit of free play exploring, me and Charlie. I was Anakin Skywalker because we were playing the prequels, and he said he wanted to be Darth Vader, so he was Darth Vader, and he waddled over to me and went, hello, I'm Darth Vader, who are you? And I was like, well, Technically, I'm.
You don't know, mate.
I'm also Darth Vader. And what? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Charlie. Look, when you're a little bit older, I'll explain it. It's just it's a very long, very tedious story, but we are the same person. Yeah, what a weird game, and I can't stop playing it. It's funny because I really love Elden Ring. Like, I'm in love with that game, and I've got to a point where I've beaten a big boss, and this is usually where I drop off. It's, you know where I am, Sean. It's like I've not progressed since we last spoke about it. I want to go back to it, but I know that there are other games that I want to get out of the way first. This is one of them. And for some reason, I can't stop playing it, even though it's frustrating me in places. And I think I'm trying to push through the films now, because it is quite daunting to think about how much content's in there. You know, you play like a full episode, and you're like, that was an hour and a half to 2 hours. I've got like another 2 of those, then I've done one of the 3 trilogies. It's like, shit, there's a lot of game here. Because I guess you get a sense of how long the game is and how much you've got ahead of you, and that's quite daunting.
That's true, yeah. It's pretty precisely spelled out, isn't it? As you say, like, if you know how long a chapter takes, then, you can figure it out.
But then I am really looking forward to, like, I've completely opened the galaxy map now. I'm looking forward to just doing that extra stuff later on down the line, because I think that's where I really enjoyed the previous Lego games that I've played, where it says, like, do what you want, upgrade how you want. There's loads of little gags and little places to go and explore. That's the stuff I'm looking forward to. So I will do that. I'm right, as I say, 2 more episodes to get through, and then I'm at that stage. And then once I've had my fill of that, I'll move on to something else.
So it is a game typically played in 2 halves. Like, you have the story mode where you just go through, and then there's the, whatever it's called, open play mode, where that's where you have other missions, or what?
Well, that's when you go back to find the extra stuff, don't you? Because you can replay the missions in free mode, where you can switch characters freely.
Yes.
So
which you need to do if you want to be like collecting everything in this game. Like, because you might have noticed, Matt, that when you're playing the campaign stuff, you'll come across things like that are
machines to switch. I mean, switching characters where possible to open different machines and hack and whatnot.
Yeah. So that stuff comes later. And whether people usually play those games like that, I don't know. It's just how I played the last one that I played. So I'm assuming you could do. As I said, this really does feel like the other games that I've played. And part of me is a little bit disappointed with that, because I thought this was going to be something different. But then at the same time, it's just the comfortable sit down and play game. Don't have to think too much. Go, I remember that bit of the film. And by the end of the session, you've had a good time. Do you know what I mean?
What I don't get is, why is it every time I load back into the game, I have to watch the start of the opening crawl every single time?
Oh, because it changes.
Oh, does it?
It's really clever, that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's really clever, that.
It really worried me, because I was like, oh no, has it not saved? Am I going to have to do it? Do I have to start the whole thing again?
Okay. Read it, so it updates to where you are in the game.
Oh, that's okay. That's good.
Yeah. It starts when you start the episode. It uses the original text from the film, and then later on, it changes slightly for where you are in the game, just to remind you.
Like, why are we watching this again? But we didn't realise it changed.
Yeah, you can skip it. Yeah,
you can.
Yeah, I know you can skip it, but like the fact it starts every time, and it just felt like I wouldn't be seeing this every time I loaded back into the game. I shouldn't be seeing it, but if it updates, then that makes sense.
How far are you into it, Sean?
I haven't played it this week, so I'm just the same as I was last week, basically. Yeah.
There's some really fucking weird bits in it, like especially in, I think it's Attack of the Clones. There's just bits where you're running from one end of the map to the other,
right?
And you're like, well, you could have just cut this bit, you know what I mean? But then at the same time, I mean, even running from one end to the other is less tedious than that film, so can't complain too much. But it does enough.
Do you think you will be kind of 100% in this, or going through and upgrading everything, or just having a bit of fun until it's not fun anymore?
Yeah, it's fucking nuts to 100% these games. Like, I mean, collectathon's not even the word. Like, it's crazy with that stuff. So no, I can't see myself 100% in it, but I can certainly see myself playing for several hours after completing the story. So I feel like I've kind of got enough out of it for what I paid for it, because it was actually quite cheap. It was like 38 quid on Shop 2.
Oh, was that when you got it? Yeah, because I found a CD Keys deal for, I can't remember, it was like 42 quid, something like that.
Oh, maybe it was that one then. Maybe it was that one. Maybe it was CD Keys for 42, something like that.
One of them.
It was nice and cheap anyway compared to what games are these days. But yeah, no, all I'll say is that if you like the game, if you like the films, obviously just give it a go, because even just visually, man, seriously, some of the stuff in this game just looks absolutely incredible. The deserts look absolutely stunning, and when the first time you're in the Millennium Falcon, the Lego Millennium Falcon, like flying around in space shooting things, it's absolutely stunning. Good, but also a lot of problems.
Yeah,
that's my assessment.
It's so weird. I just honestly thought this was like a massive departure, but that's not the case, I guess.
You never played a Lego game before?
No. But again, I was always led to believe this is like, they've massive skill trees and all these upgrades, and it's like this is really big, hence a delay.
I mean, that stuff is different, but yeah, it's not like in terms of what you're actually doing moment to moment. It's pretty.
Yeah, they kind of had to change the camera angle if they wanted the shooting to work. Like, that's what it feels like to me. That they've not actually gone, hey man, let's give a different angle to this. They're like, oh, we want the blasters to work well, so let's do it over the shoulder. And and it's not a great over the shoulder camera either. It feels like the field of view is like way too narrow. It's a little bit frustrating, to be honest with you. So I didn't even think that that's a massive success. I'm upgrading my ability of my blasters, actually, because that's the other thing. It feels like you have to shoot characters far too many times for them to die.
Yeah, because all previous Lego Star Wars games, it was all just one-hit kills, wasn't it?
Well, you can upgrade your blaster, that's it.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah. And to be fair, those Kyber brick things, you get tons of them just by... I'm not doing any exploring, not doing any of the puzzles or anything like that. I'm literally running from objective to objective in the main storyline. And then I found myself with like 70 Kyber bricks, or whatever they're called. And I was like, oh, okay, I could just upgrade now. Yeah. So, that's what I've been doing. Recommended, I think. It's weird, isn't it? I've got so many problems with it. Yeah, I'm still saying go and play it.
Well, as you say,
that's how I feel.
You put it on and you enjoy yourself, and then you finish playing it and you say, yeah, I enjoyed that. It's like, well, what more do you want?
Yeah, I know. I just want things to be perfect. It's so near to being like a proper good game, And I think that intro sums it up. Like, you look at it and go, there's so much heart in here. This was made by fans of Star Wars. They've got it. They've nailed it. Oh, it's a bit fucking janky. Yeah. That's such a shame, because that is... Yeah, that whole intro is like fucking brilliant, and then the way it goes, da, 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 as it's like pulling out, and you hear Ray's voice and stuff like that. Oh, that's another thing as well. Shit. So what is it? Where's it? Is it Naboo?
Naboo,
the planet. Yeah, Naboo, the planet with all the Jar Jar Binks characters in it. Oh my god! I mean, the Jar Jar Binks character is obviously legendarily shit, right? But the fact that they've got voice actors to come in and do that, speak in that way again, it sounds even worse. Yeah. Like some of them are just not even trying. They're going, so Misa needs you to go down there. It's like, can you find me 5 of these things? Wow. They really didn't even give a shit about this, did they? They just did not give a shit. That's weird to hear in 2022. More Jar Jar Binks lingo.
Yeah, it's surprising given some of the heat it got at the time.
But could they have really changed it?
No, it's not. No, I see what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, there's the problem with, is it racist, right? But even ignoring that, just getting people in to talk like that again is just weird. Yeah. Oh, I've got a job for you. Yeah, what's that? working on a Lego Star Wars game. All right. You're going to be one of the Jar Jar Binks type things. Really? Someone's writing lines for that in that style, are they, in 2022? Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're going to do it? Well, of course I'm going to do it. I need the work. Good.
Yeah.
Here are your lines. Misa, go down there, pleaser. Right, okay, I've got
Nailed
to say
it.
that on a mic. Do I need to record it? Yeah. Can they leave me out of the credits? Oh absolutely. Yeah, it's mad. It is mad.
Did it make you want to go back and rewatch the films again?
We rewatched Revenge of the Sith this morning.
Nice.
I say rewatched it. Harry's never seen it.
Has
He
he
never
not?
saw the prequels.
Oh,
None of
No,
them?
no,
No way.
he started watching fucking Phantom Menace and was like, "This is shit." So he didn't say that obviously, but like he was like, "I don't want to watch this no more." So we turned it off and never watched the prequels. So he said, like,
Revenge of the Sith's all right, man. It's all right.
it's okay. In fact, actually, Attack of the Clones, you play through this Attack of the Clones in this game, and you're like, oh, there were some really good bits in that film.
Mhm.
You know, that stuff in the little city at the start, and you know those big bombs that they chucked out of the spaceship in the asteroid field that go. Those things, they were great. And then the fucking the bit where all the Jedi show up in that weird little Colosseum bit where
Yeah.
Amidala's suit just keeps getting ripped
Yeah,
off, like
weird.
in a really weird
Yeah.
way. Like all that stuff was great, apart from the last bit that I said. And so you kind of forget like how bad that film is while you're playing it on this. So that was certainly a good way to experience that film. But yeah, no, we watched Revenge of the Sith this morning because Harry was like, "What? Why is he like? How does he turn into Darth Vader?" So we watched that. Yeah. He wasn't too bummed out about the fact that old Anakin was burning away on the bottom of the fucking volcano.
Sort of deserves it by that point,
You know,
doesn't
Listen to me.
he? Killed kids, mate.
Listen
Killed
to
some
me.
kids.
Yeah, the younglings.
Oh,
Younglings.
that is not even referenced in this, probably correctly.
The best.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird. Okay, that's my view of Lego the Skyman.
Lego Star Wars.
Lego the Star Wars. Sean.
I might have to uninstall Elden Ring. Not because I'm like raging at it or I'm stuck on a bit,
Oh, I can't hack it.
but I just
Can't hack it, David. He can't hack it.
I can't stop fucking playing it, and it's to the point now that I'm like,
So addictive.
it is so addictive.
So addictive.
I'm now playing it to the exclusion of basically everything else, and
It's good though, isn't
it's
it?
really fucking good. But I feel like I'm missing other things now. There's other games I want to play.
Do you know where I'm supposed to be going next then? I assume.
So hang on. So what
I
did
bet
you
you're
what
way
did you do
far
last?
ahead. The floating lady with the little ladies underneath.
Oh
her.
right, yeah. So I mean, your next. Technically,
It's Red Sky place,
yeah.
right?
Sadly, yes. I mean, technically, you
I
can
don't like that.
can head north now and go to the city. But yeah, because basically it's like any two bosses grant you access, I believe. But yeah, you'll want to do more.
Get my butt kicked when I am there.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's Caelid next for you, I'm afraid.
Okay.
You get used to it. For those who haven't played the game, there's just one area of the map that's just fucking horrible. It's been like sort of infected with this. I forgot, what do they call it? Like the scarlet rot. That's it. And it's just
Something like that.
fucking gross. Basically, the whole place. Like the music sounds like there's flies buzzing around you at all times and shit. It's horrible. But you weirdly, you reach a point where it doesn't constantly make you feel uncomfortable or anxious anymore, and it's okay. So yeah, do persevere with that.
I just saw those weird, massive crow things and thought they look
Yeah, they're no fun.
like I'm uncomfortable. You know what I'm like with scale?
Yes.
If scales out, it freaks me
Yeah.
out. And those
There's
crows
some massive,
really touch
massive
that
dogs
nerve.
as well that are horrible.
Oh, good.
But yeah, I did a bit the other night that I won't spoil, and it was fucking brilliant. It was just a really smart, like it was an area I'd been to, and I was like, oh, I guess I've seen everything here. Never mind. And then came back to it later, and I had an item to use that changed things somewhat, and it was just fucking superb. So yeah, I say I'm playing it most nights still, just because it's the, turn the Xbox on. What should I play? Oh, I was playing Elden Ring, wasn't I? Oh yeah, I'm quite excited to do another bit in Elden Ring actually. And then I'm putting Elden Ring on, and then it's midnight, and
I've seen you on it.
Yeah, I need to be in bed. And,
I've seen you
and
on
I'm
it.
still, Chinatown Detective Agency's come out and is apparently really good. And other stuff. I should, like I said, I've not been on Lego Star Wars this week at all. Kirby is still waiting to be played. So I'm just like I do want to finish Elden Ring. I don't want to stop playing it. I just want to play other things.
Just don't worry about it. Just play it. Who cares? Do you know where, like, how far from the end you are?
Oh, fucking miles yet, mate. You have no idea how big this game is. It's unbelievable.
Oh no, that's what worries me the most, because it's like so many people are like, I've put 90 hours in and I'm not even near the end, and I'm like, I want to, but that's a lot.
It's a lot of hours.
It is a lot
of hours. I can't remember what my in-game clock is on now. Must be about 60 odd by this point.
Yeah, see, but I was only on like about 20, I think.
Sean, are you finding that you're like, if you play every night, are you saying, okay, tonight is more of an exploring session, this night I'm going to focus on bosses, or are you just kind of powering through bosses and keeping the story going?
You pick a theme. It's very much, for me, it is very much like, am I up for bosses tonight or not? Right? So like, there might be times where I will explore the map and I'll find, finding little dungeons or whatever, or exploring new areas, and then finding a boss door and just being like, nah, save that for tomorrow. Stick a marker on the map and then leave it. But then there's been occasions where, like, I'm clearing an area out and it turns out I probably could have done it 20 levels ago. So actually you do the boss. So I've had the inverse of, you remember in Dark Souls, the whole Capra Demon thing, where you fight a Capra Demon for the first time and it's horrible. And then smart ass is like, oh, it's a normal enemy later on, which turns out it is, but it turns out the reason that first boss fight is hard is because of the space in which you fight the Capra Demon for the first time. Anyway, so I've had the opposite of that, where I've fought a normal enemy and then later found that it's a boss earlier in the game that I missed.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, it's you.
Oh, weird. I'm just fucking in the opening area?
No, not in the opening area. In like a later area, but one I could have done a while ago, if you get me.
Right.
So yeah, I was just like, oh right. So then just blasted it with a load of magic and died.
I really love. I'm sure other people played these games like this, but I really loved how after I beat the floating lady with the little ladies, I sort of went, I'm going to go back to that first castle. I bet I can explore that first castle now. And then you do it, and you're like, yeah, this isn't hard at all, because obviously I'm over leveled for it. And oh my god, there's so much here that I didn't even see. Like, I cleared that courtyard, where there's like loads of enemies. Yeah. Whereas before I was like, oh my god, 2 of these would kill me. And now there's like 40 of them, and I've taken them all out. No problem.
Do you mean the castle with like all the enemies in the courtyard with like the massive pile of bodies? That one?
No, okay. That's Castle. That's Morn.
Castle Morn.
Yeah. No, I was over leveled when I went there. Like the boss in that, I felt sorry for the boss in that area, because I was just like, oh, you did nothing to me. Like, you didn't even. This was not an issue at all. I didn't even acknowledge your existence, mate.
No, you were there. I just turned around. Oh, boss is dead.
I should give a shout out to Josh last week for telling me about the Sword of Night and Fire, whatever it's called. I basically went and got that, and it's absolutely ludicrous. Like, I completely respect so that I could use it, and it's hilarious. It doesn't make it trivial, but yeah, it's fucking really good.
I want a big, like, flaming sword or something, but I want a Quelaag sword again, Sean. That's what I want.
Sword. Yeah.
That made me so happy in that game.
Miss it. Elden Ring game. Fucking brilliant. And I'm going to have to stop at some point just to play other things.
The thing is, what are we going to do? There's no big games out for a while now. This game is massive.
So I hear. This is what I'm hearing. Like, there's a big, there's a fallow period, is there?
Well, I don't know, because
that's what that. So I've read much. I've read
Go on, sorry.
No, I was going to say I've read the schedule and there isn't much.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we've got Switch Sports, haven't we?
Switch Sports.
Yes, at end of the month.
I mean, so may or may not be one for you guys, but Norco is out on PC. That's on PC Game Pass, I think.
I've heard great things about that.
Yeah,
actually.
man, I really want to play that. Yeah, Chinatown Detective Agency has just come out and it's apparently good. Citizen Sleeper is in a couple of weeks and I can't fucking wait because I think that's going to be amazing. That's on Game Pass as well. Really excited about that. And there's definitely a few others. But yeah, there's no big AAA fellas, is there? I suppose.
No.
We've
And
had
this
enough.
game
It's
just
not been a bad. It's not been a bad start to the year, is it? To
I
be
know it's
fair?
been an amazing start to the year, but it's more like this game is massive. It's all we want to play, and nothing's out for the next few weeks. So what the hell are we going to talk about on the pod? But
Oh, mate, we managed
Switch
to do it
Sports.
through the pandemic where there were no games coming out for
That's
months.
to that.
I think we'll be all right. I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be fine.
Talk about Switch Sports. Are you two getting the physical version? Well, one, are you both getting it? And two, are you getting the physical one so you get like the football strap thing?
Matt, I've spoken to you this about before. You can get that strap for about £2 on Amazon.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, I think it don't make that the reason why you get the physical edition. I'll probably be getting it
I was
on
gonna,
download, to be fair.
I'll be getting it digital, I think, yeah. Just because it's one of those, especially because it's, exercise related, I need that to be as accessible as possible. Right? I can't, if I actually, I mean, is it exercise related? I mean, bowling certainly isn't. Chambara probably isn't.
Sure,
really any
man, I'm
exercise
telling
at
you
all, is
that.
Yeah,
So
football
I signed up for a couple of exercise based activities in the next couple of months, and this one of them is football. I'm playing football at the Den next month, right?
Amazing.
Which is like a childhood dream. And then I'm doing a mud, one of those.
Oh,
You
Tough
see
Mudder.
my
Oh, the Tough Mudder.
yeah, something like that.
Awesome.
In a couple of months, and I had to fill out a form for this football thing, and it was like, how long do you reckon you could play for? What sort of fitness level you? So I said to my brother, look, let's go down the park and have a proper kickabout, just to see where we're at, just to get the ball at our feet again. I don't want to completely show myself up at this thing. And oh my fucking word, I nearly died. Honestly, I've been in so much pain since doing that I need every bit of exercise I can get at the moment, even if it is playing pretend bowling in front of my television.
Mate, have you ever... the other week, I took Isaac to the local trampoline park for the first time. Holy
I've
fuck,
done that,
I died.
Yeah, they're awesome.
fun,
It was
though,
very
innit?
good fun, but yeah, I was an absolute shell of a man by the end of it.
But do you do that thing where you look around and all the other adults are sitting down having
Yes.
coffee? You'll go,
Yeah.
yeah, that's me every time we go to one of those places.
But yeah, the point is, I know it's pathetic to be like, oh, I hate changing cartridges in the Switch, but I do. So I'll probably this
fuck
is one
off.
I want to be
Stop
able to
judging
just
me.
put it on, no messing. So I'll be getting digital, I think.
Yeah, and Dave, if what he said's right, and I can get like a £3 strap on Amazon, then I guess
man.
why would I possibly get the physical one when I'm not making much of a saving?
There's just no need, is there? Because usually I get physical on
Physical.
on Switch because of Harry's Light, but you can't play this thing on the Light anyway. So
And the resale value on physical is just massive on Switch. So
it is, isn't it?
It is.
It is.
It really is.
Isn't it? It is.
But yeah,
It
Switch
is.
Sports. So the previews went out last week or the week before for Switch Sports, and all sounds very positive. Everyone's commenting about how responsive it feels, how accurate it feels. So
See, I don't trust anyone. I really don't. I need to get it in my hands to judge it. I don't trust anyone. I'll let you know if it's like the old bowling.
oh no, I'll let myself know, David. Don't worry about that. Do not worry.
No,
about
I'm
that.
talking to the listeners, not you.
I'm
I'm
talking
not
about
listen
myself.
to you. Yeah, no, you can work it out for yourself, but I'm talking to the listeners. They need someone they can trust, and I'm that person.
Well, they're listening to one right now.
Thanks.
No, I'm talking about Sean. I can't wait for Switch Sports. I'm very excited, and like the online stuff sounds good. And
Okay.
There's only one other game I played a bit of, not loads. I'm really keen to go back to it though. I've been playing a bit of Tentacular on the Oculus Quest 2. Sorry, Meta
Yeah,
Quest.
it's a VR thing,
Sorry,
right?
Meta Quest.
The Meta Quest. I started to see that on a WhatsApp at the bottom of WhatsApp. It's like, ooh, made by Meta. Shut up.
Yeah, so this is a game where you play as a kaiju or, you know, a monster that lives in the sea. But it's very much like no one really minds that you're a monster, right? You're not there necessarily to trash stuff.
Whoa, is this like shark head monster thing?
Wait, what?
I've just searched Tentacular and there's like this rather attractive monster, I would say. What a hunk.
What an attractive monster. I don't know what.
Like a shark head thing.
A shark head thing?
Oh no, what's David Googled?
What have you been
this is what I'm
Googling?
seeing.
Let me have a look.
I'm seeing a rather dashing monster here, Sean. I'll be honest with you when I searched Tentacular. Go on.
It's all right.
You crack on.
Oh no, well, maybe that's a cartoon. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think that's something else.
That's a cartoon.
That's just something else. Entirely.
Shame. All right, go on then.
You're basically a giant squid, right? Who lives in the sea, and it turns you find out on your 16th birthday from your very obviously human sister, or possibly mom, I can't remember, it's not really clear, that you were adopted, but it's time for you to get a job. And
that's a lot to deal with on your 16th birthday.
It is.
Isn't it?
Yeah. We've all been there. And it's basically it's just a very physicsy puzzle game where obviously your two hands become these sort of massive tentacles, which it's always a really fun thing in VR because it's like terrifying how quickly you adapt to like, oh yeah, these are my hands now. And I feel like they're real, and I can feel I don't know, the way that the physics of the tentacles sort of behaves just sort of makes sense. It reminded me of I can't remember what it was called. You might know, Matt. There's like a free Quest game where it's like you're in like a wizard's sort of lair, and there's all different potions and stuff you use on your hands, and it like turns them into like robot hands or like big claws or whatever. And it's just weird how quickly your brain just goes like, oh right, yeah, okay, that's my hands now.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. So yeah, and it's basically you go through like all these sort of puzzles. So yeah, you get a job basically working for like the sort of waste disposal arm of the council, and you're sort of clearing up shit out of the sea. You can obviously pick a lot of stuff up and throw it around. There's like one of the tutorials you use like power lines to sort of slingshot stuff. Like, so you're trying to knock these buildings down, so you're just picking up like oil tankers and stuff, putting them on the power lines and sort of like pulling it back so it stretches and then pinging it off into the distance. It just feels great. It's really enjoyable. There's a lot of like dialogue in it. It's quite a slow start, and I'm sort of just getting out of that sort of initial like, here is how everything works stage. So I'm sort of looking forward to it just being more of like a seamless like series of puzzles rather than like, you know, there being sort of constant dialogue from people. Because it like when people are talking at you, so it's just text on the screen, like a little speech bubble, and the way to sort of fast forward through their speech is to like repeatedly sort of tap them on the head, which is quite funny at first, but when you're doing it for like the 10th time, you're just like, yeah, come on, like get on with it. Does get a little bit irritating, but I gather that eases off as the game progresses. And there's like actually quite a cool story about like your origins and how you sort of came to be on the planet. So like quite early on, you find like a UFO as you're disposing a load of garbage out of a cliff face. And I'm really excited to play more of it. It seems incredibly cool and very nicely presented and quite funny. Yeah, I really like it.
Yeah, graphically it's really nice. Looks really solid, really cartoony.
It's another one of those that works really well with the Quest's limitations. You know, like anything that sort of tries to look realistic usually fails really badly, whereas this has clearly gone for a style and really benefits from it. So yeah.
Although if you're Googling it and looking at images,
not the handsome,
the hunky monster is not in the game.
No.
Okay.
No.
What's the hunky monster from? Just
out of curiosity.
Just tell other people.
It just says how to draw Tentacular. I've seen
must
that
be
one.
So Tentacular
Rumble
must be a character
2021. Yeah, I just don't know which one, and it's trying to redirect me to DeviantArt. So as much,
careful.
Yeah, I'm not going near that.
Yep.
I'm not going near that. Sure.
No, why would you?
No, save that for your own time.
Yeah.
Terry Crews plays the voice.
What, in the game or this other thing?
I don't know what. No, right. It's something on Paramount Plus. Right. Okay. Terry Crews as Tentacular in Rumble on Paramount Plus. Okay, there we go. Bit of advertising for you.
Cool.
Live on the podcast, baby. Right, are we done?
I am, yeah.
Are you done, Matt?
Last thing for me, anyway, last time I mentioned it, but I've 100%ed Kirby now. Absolutely fantastic
Amazing.
game. It got incredibly...
How pissed off were you that James got there first?
I
there
did
must
see
have been
that.
part of you that was fuming.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't see it?
It wasn't a race, and I really struggled. At one point, I was 96% complete, and I just literally had like the last of these Colosseum battles in Waddle Dee Town to do and collecting the models. But the last major thing was this Colosseum battle. And I was like, James, I don't know if I've got it in me. I got like to the last boss and like the last kind of phase of this boss, and I kept getting smashed. And I was like, I might leave it at 96%, you know. But he thought, no, just upgrade this, and I did that, and actually it was a lot easier after that. So, but no, absolutely brilliant game, and it'll be the last time I mention it now because it's 100%ed. But absolute joy from start to finish. I loved it the more I played it.
Cool.
Yeah, I played a little bit more this weekend. Actually, first time I went back to it since the first week. That's going to be what I move on to after Star Wars. So my plan is Lego Star Wars, get to the point where I'm done with it, Kirby, and then back to Elden Ring, and then Cyberpunk. Jesus,
and nothing else will come out in the meantime,
games.
so it'll be fine.
I sold Horizon in the end.
Oh, did you?
Because I just was never going to go. I never going to go back to. What's the fucking point? I wasn't enjoying it that much anyway. So yeah, forget that. Like I'm much more likely. I played a little bit of Gran Turismo last week because I'd heard that you got the 1,000,000 credits and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, yeah, I should probably log in
for
that.
So that's really good fun. But I just that's got to take a back seat at the moment. Oi. Hey, that's got to take a back seat. Oh, cars have back seats.
Yeah, we've got the
certainly
reference,
do.
yeah.
So just making sure. So that's taking a back. Well, rear wheel drive.
No, it doesn't. I'm going to reverse that.
Does it work? Okay.
What about Tunic? Does that interest you at all?
No.
Oh, it should do, man.
It should do. Sean loves it, doesn't he? And it seems like I've just got the wrong end of the stick with that game when I first started playing it.
I've been hearing from more people saying, like, yeah, I just put invincibility mode on and it's a better game.
I was definitely having way more fun when I did that.
That's bad, though, right?
It is bad.
That is bad. You should not have to do that.
No, you're absolutely right. It's not ideal, but...
Yeah, when I did that, I was having more fun, but I also felt like, well, bosses are just kind of pointless.
It's trivial,
and
yeah.
I would like it to be a bit more... I think you mentioned it, or maybe myself, or someone mentioned it. I would like a bit more in the middle, where it's either like not just fully invincible, but just a little bit... Somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
not on or off, really, but...
Yeah, totally.
At least I got through it, because I wanted to experience all the other stuff with people mentioning about, the hidden language and the puzzles and the things that take you all over the map. That's the stuff I wanted to experience.
Did you experience any of that?
No, I mean, I felt like maybe I just hadn't reached that part of the game yet. I had a couple of puzzles, or the puzzles I did have were easily answered by the stuff in the instruction manual pages that I had collected at the time. Are they done the first boss or maybe the second boss? So maybe... I mean, that's not one on my list.
It does look good, doesn't it?
It does, yeah, really, yeah. I think it's lovely. But it's on the list to go back to. I mean, also, did you ever play Shredders, Sean?
Not properly, no. I did like a load of the tutorials, and it's one of those you have to just spend quite a bit of time with to get used to the feel of it and stuff, I think. So I wasn't like, oh my god, this is incredible. It's clearly something that needs a bit of study, I think. It's quite funny though. Surprised by that.
It's funny, is it?
Yeah, it's like little cutscenes between. I mean, it doesn't always land, but yeah, worth a look.
I've got Sifu on the back of my mind as well. Like I want to try that at some point.
Did you play that at all?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I didn't buy it. No, and I'm such an idiot. Like downloaded a bunch of games that I'm never going to play as well. Ollie Ollie World, I'll probably go back to at some point again because I just love playing that game. I'm kind of glad there's a bit of a period to catch up. Like, it's not going to be great for the podcast, don't get me wrong, but like, I'm kind of glad there's a bit of a period so I can do a bit of a catching up. Yeah. And of course, we're playing Rocket League again, which is just so stupid. There's just so much to do, and I'm sitting there and fucking trying to win a tournament in Rocket League. Oh, we got through to the final the other night. Absolutely devastated. 2-1 we lost in the final.
Shit.
Absolutely fuming. Yeah, still an amazing game. Is that it?
It is it. Let's go on to questions.
Let's get questions sent.
If you want to send us a question, God knows why, but visit tcgs.co/Dear TCGS. Miriam Endiet says, Dear TCGS Combine Hunters. Last week's conversation mentioned the excellent Shadow of the Tomb Raider and the way it portrays Lara as a hunter. Personally, she joins the pantheon of hunters along with Mr. X, Xenomorphs, and the Sun in Super Mario Bros. 3. Which other game captures the sensation of being chased? Keep up the terrific output, sincerely.
Well, this is Matt's thing, isn't it?
Too many games, but the one that scared me the most was Celeste.
Oh, God,
The first or second boss, I think you basically get chased with the whole boss sequence, and it was horrible. It was just the worst.
What, the one with in the library? The ghost in the library?
The hotel, isn't it?
A hotel, that's it, yeah.
Yeah. I just didn't like that at all. Hated it. I just hate being chased,
like,
and that one was a bad one.
Worse than the Emmys in Dread. Because I thought that was creepier.
Yeah, that's got to be the answer to this, right?
There's my answer.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that.
Sean,
but
get your own, Sean.
Yeah, that one didn't scare me as much because the whole aspect of that was about getting out and getting the exits and knowing where your exits were. So, and the area is quite small, so I wasn't quite so worried. It's ones where you don't know when the chase is going to end, whereas the enemies, you can control when it ends because you can get out or do whatever you need to do or make sure there's enough space between you and the enemy. Whereas,
got another one for you.
Yeah.
Right, you're saying that Celeste was the worst. Right, we saw what you were like when you faced Mr. X in Resident Evil 2. So how the fuck was Celeste worse? Like, I get it in Resident Evil 2. Like, I was like, that would shit me up. But Celeste, it didn't even register as something that was potentially...
Again, because, Mr. X, obviously, I wasn't a fan of that, and the kind of ongoing dread and the sensation of you hearing the music and knowing it's around somewhere, and the unknown was scary. But again, you could do enough to put enough space between you and Mr. X. You could keep running. You could try and control it, and you knew also where it couldn't arrive and be present to chase you. Whereas, again, that boss in Celeste, I didn't know how long that was going to last. It seemed to go on and on and on, and I just wasn't a fan. Whereas the other ones I mentioned, Mr. X and Emmys, I could control.
Have you ever played Dead by Daylight?
No, I've seen enough of it on streams, but never played it.
Would that be a problem?
It doesn't look like it's for me, but I just don't want to be chasing the game, and I don't want the whole.
I mean, that's
the whole premise of the game is being chased in. No, not for me. Thank you.
That is the whole game. That is all that game is.
But yeah, I've watched enough hours of Libby playing that to know this is not for me.
So you're just using my answer, are you, Sean?
I mean, the Emmys. I mean, obviously, it's a cop out, but the SAX from Metroid Fusion, which obviously is what gameplay wise sort of evolved into the Emmys in Metroid Dread. I think that's all I've got.
Also, any racing game where there's cars behind you. Ooh, freaks me out.
Mario Kart.
Freaks me out.
Having a meltdown.
I have to be last. It's just easier that way.
Yeah. Tree Smurf says, lads, Max Payne is making a return. This is exciting news, but what I want to know is, if you could use bullet time in your everyday life, how would you use it and why?
Oh, I would... everyday life, I don't know. I mean, it would be handy when I'm playing football at the Den.
Mm-hmm.
Just to slow one down and then just do be a good football player, wouldn't you?
I mean, broadly, just stopping Isaac from, fucking killing himself 10 times a day.
Yeah.
Bashing into things, dropping things, trying to put non-edible stuff in his mouth.
Oh no, has that been happening a lot?
Yeah, and I don't get it because it's 4 years old. It was literally, everything that's like a choking hazard is like 3+, right? Because that's the age when they're supposed to stop doing that. That's when Isaac started. He was generally really smart at recognizing when things are edible or not. Until he turned 3, and then it all just went out the fucking window. Now he just chews on anything. Man. Don't know.
I think I got quite lucky at that. Elodie didn't really do much of that stuff. She also didn't do the thing which I was dreading about, putting like jammy fingers into like consoles or putting anything into like the Xbox.
Yeah, I heard horror stories like that from my friends. Like, oh yeah, such and such put like a coaster in a DVD player, and now it just doesn't work. But yeah, we never had that with the boys. They've been all right with that stuff.
Do you think it almost like, because I don't know, because I'm happy for Isaac to use any of my game stuff, so there's no mystique around it. Do you know what I mean? There's no like.
What about phone though?
Yeah.
I don't let him use my phone.
No, I've let him play, do a bit like Pokemon
phone.
Go on it and stuff. But yeah, broadly speaking, he doesn't use the phone. No. Bad idea.
No, I'm like, you do not touch my phone. Yeah. That is not happening.
Yep.
But no, like they've got their own pads now, so that's less of an issue.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. What with the bullet time? I mean, definitely getting the bus. Like, it's insane. I get the bus every morning, and every morning, no matter what time I'm at the corner where the bus stop is, it's always my bus going past. And I'm like, every morning I'll be in exactly the same place. Yep, that's my bus. It's gone past, even though I'm 5 minutes earlier than I was yesterday when the bus also went past at this time. It's absolutely infuriating. So that, slowing down time and running to the bus stop would be
the thing is, though,
because
bullet time doesn't make you any faster, does it? It's not like everyone else slows down and you carry on at normal speed. Like, everything slows down.
No, you are slightly faster, aren't you?
Are you? I don't know if you are.
Yeah, because if you remember, when Max Payne's jumping,
that's right. You can aim
like
really quickly.
Aim.
Yeah, so he still moves at the same speed, but he can aim really.
That's true, right? So I'd just be like looking around really quickly, but
extending the
still running really slowly.
Noticing the bus go past you.
Because obviously,
slow mo.
Obviously, the whole point of bullet time is that it's aids you in doing things that would be really difficult. Whereas I'm just quite clumsy in general. So I'd use it for like
stop you dropping stuff.
Like dropping stuff, or like like opening a door for the first time that you're not familiar with.
What push instead of pull?
Yeah, or just like some like that. The handle's got a weird action on it, or something. To be able to just like put your hand.
The handle's got a weird action on it.
Right, in our office is fucked. Right, basically 95% of the doors they've got a a turnable, rotating handle on them. But there's no actual latch. It doesn't do anything. The handle doesn't do anything. But some of them fucking do. And I swear to God, right? I'm not saying it's a conspiracy. I'm just saying it sometimes
choice, by the management.
It sometimes feels like they change which door actually has
overnight.
yeah. Let's move it around, keep us on our toes. So every so often you'll reach for a door and you think, oh, this is one of the ones where I don't actually have to pull, and the door doesn't fucking move. And, oh, for fuck's sake! And everyone looks at you and laughs. No, they don't laugh. But I feel like they do, or they should. Just little things like that.
A good use of it.
Yeah. Also, I was in B&Q the other day because we're finally repainting the ground floor after we got all the
strap in.
After we got all the replastering done and everything. And I got like trunking for like heating pipes, central heating pipes.
Oh, I know that trunking.
Yeah, it's fucking 2.5 meters long. So not only did I nearly like take out several people wheeling it around in a trolley, but then like having to like get it out onto the counter so they could scan it. I thought they'd do the thing like at IKEA where they're just like, yeah, just leave it there, we'll just come and scan it with the little gun thing. No, she just stood there and waited for me to load it onto the
onto the little conveyor belt thing. Surely it's already there, like by the time you put it on.
Well, this is it. And so it's like I just plopped it forward onto there, nearly like dropped 2 of them. So I had to buy 4 of them, and then she just stood there and watched me load it back into the trolley, and then like more of them fell out again, and didn't feel good. Did not feel good.
And so bullet time would have helped you
because I'd have been like snap as soon as I spotted that like the balance was off on one of them. I'm like fucking grab that. No danger.
Okay.
And like all the women in the vicinity would be like, he's cool, isn't he? Do you know what I mean?
Look at him handle that 2 meter length of trunking.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, right? I was in B&Q the other day, and there was a bloke there handling 2 meter long trunking, just like as if it wasn't an issue.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck! Did you get his name? No, but I wish I did.
No, I just call him Hero.
Yeah,
and you're bloody married.
As you're walking out, there'll be a bloke, and they just give you a little wink and a thumbs up. Well handled. You're clearly one of us.
Respect.
Yeah. Oh, do you ever feel insecure, Sean?
I do. Like, I'm still like I'm all right with like DIY stuff, but I am still weird in B&Q or whatever. I don't know. Feel out of place.
Sean, a little tip: just go in with a little pencil behind your ear.
Yeah, pencil behind your ear.
And like go in with some clothes where there's a paint over it. Because they're like, look, this guy knows his shit. He's got a pencil behind the ear.
What sort of talk is on this?
Well, that was the other thing, because because like Isaac's well into Pokemon at the moment, so he's got me back into it. Xavi had a massive sale on like Pokemon merch recently, so I bought myself a Psyduck hoodie, a Pikachu jumper, and an Eevee t-shirt. And on the day I went to B&Q, I was wearing the Eevee t-shirt, and I just thought, everyone just thinks I'm an idiot now. That's
fuck everyone.
That will cause a scene. But no, just go in with a pencil behind your ear. I think it doesn't matter what you're wearing. They're like, this guy's got his shit together.
Do this in 44, do you? Do it in 44.
Do you
what do you mean, sir? Just say no. Oh, no, sir. Well, you fucking should. And then walk off. Put a pencil behind your ear.
Pencil behind the ear.
You all right, sweatheart?
No.
You're walking out.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Oh, no, don't do that. But go on, Sean, do that.
I will.
Get the accent down.
Yeah.
You need to get the Cockney accent down.
Will that work up here, though, do you think? Is that universal?
No. Everyone just fucking hate you, won't they?
I don't know, to be honest.
Is that how it works?
Maybe it'd be a little bit charming. I don't know.
Well, we can find out. Should we test that out? Shall I come up?
Yeah. Just walk into B&Q, right?
And going, hello.
Yeah, just go, listen, my mate Dave, what'd you make of him? Is he all right? What do you think?
I wouldn't like to see that feedback form.
You do a little clipboard survey by the entrance.
Where did we get here from Max Payne?
I don't know. Just me being clumsy and useless.
Bullet time in the till.
Yeah. Dylan says, as a lapsed Destiny 2 player, I booted it up the other day and I'm completely lost. Where the bloody hell do I start? Should I invest in the new expansion knowing that it may get vaulted? I'm not sure. So is that business model fucked? I think I'd prefer a flat $7.99 a month with access to the whole content. I mean, yeah.
It's kind of what I said a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, that would sort it, wouldn't it? If that was.
Where are you at? You tried to get back into it like last month, right?
Yeah, I got the new expansion. I had a really good time with it, and then other games came out. But that's just me, you know. Cause I prefer to flip between things. I said at the time, like, yeah, if you think this is the only thing you'll play, then absolutely get the deluxe edition of the new expansion, and that might be the only game you need for the next year. But if you prefer to jump around between games, you might not get such good value for money out of it. The way it sort of onboards new or lapsed players has never been good and just seems to be getting worse.
Yeah, but there's two sides to that, isn't there? There's onboarding new players within the gaming world, and there's also onboarding new players in terms of the business model.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Hunter's license, it needs that, I think.
Yeah.
I do think it needs that.
Just a flat fee.
And so the expansions are like 30 quid, right? Yeah. So how much would they have to charge like a month to sort of make that viable? Like £5? Because no one's going to want to pay more than £5 a month for a fucking game.
No. I mean, like these other big subs, like Final Fantasy 14 others, they're like what, $7.99, $9.99. So it'll be around that.
Really?
Aren't they? Yeah. I suppose the deluxe edition, that's your expansion, and that's the next 4. I think it's the next 4 seasons, which is basically a year's worth of content. That's like 70 quid. So 70 quid divided by 12.
I think they definitely will introduce a sub.
I think they should
at some point.
In terms of should I invest in a new expansion knowing that it may get vaulted? I mean, as I've said before, I've not personally been upset about any of the stuff that has been taken out. Like, I think in principle it's shocking, but at no point if they remove stuff from the game where I've been like, oh fuck, I'm gonna miss that, or I really want to go back to that. Like, it's kind of a shame that you can't do that original start to the campaign for Destiny 2, because that was good. Like, there's no real like, you know, in terms of like character progression terms, there is no reason to go back to it. It was just quite cool and made me care about, you know, the story and the world for the first time, like, you know, in a really cool way. And that is gone now. So, you know, I wouldn't say like that, you know, like to not buy an expansion now because it may get vaulted in 4 years. I promise you probably won't care by then, I guess, is the answer. But it is weird.
And also, like the other big games like WoW and Final Fantasy 14, they still release big paid for expansion passes. So I can fully see Destiny saying, yeah, it's $5.99, $7.99, $9.99, whatever it's a month, and then also, hey, here's the big thing for the year for another 40 quid. I mean, I reckon they could absolutely pivot into that.
Yeah, because they all get away with charging for the expansions and the monthly fee, don't they?
Exactly, yeah.
So,
I don't think it'll be too long until that is an option, I reckon.
Yeah, I'd be interested to find out where, like, in terms of server capacity, like where the responsibility of that sits now, because I gather, I seem to remember one of the reasons Xbox Live was such a revolution was because Microsoft just went, use our servers, it's fine, like you can have them. I don't know if that is still the case, because obviously with your early sort of MMOs, you know, the monthly fee was because they were running their own servers and it costs a fortune.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that excuse still holds.
I still think studios will have to sort out their own servers and have their own infrastructure for their game. I reckon we'll absolutely see that. Yeah, and it makes sense because, you know, all the vaulting stuff. The vaulting stuff was mostly, wasn't that because they wanted to limit the actual download size? Was that the reason?
No, it was that the game physically couldn't handle that amount of data.
Apparently, it was like specifically a PSN of the game thing. Apparently, where did I read that? Really? I can't remember now.
That's three different answers. Isn't it? Sorry, I'm sure they said the game. Yeah, it was too big for the actual structure of the game, and for them to include all of the content in one game, it would need to be redesigned from the ground up.
But then doesn't Call of Duty allow you to just split it off now?
Yes,
it does. Yeah,
like there's just separate downloads for So why can't they just do that?
Maybe that's another thing they might do.
Yeah. Interesting. Anyway, Ricky Cartwright says, hey, have you guys watched any of this Halo show? Is it any good? I've heard it.
Anyone
heard it.
I mean, it's not out over here because Paramount Plus isn't officially out.
Oh, yeah.
I know, but I've still watched half of episode 1.
It was really good, yeah.
Really odd. Like, it's really strange, Sean.
I mean, because, you know, I've seen, like, obviously some people are kicking off about, oh, you see Master Chief's face. Oh, they've changed some of the story.
I don't care about any of that. Who gives a shit?
The story's rubbish. Like,
yeah. What did I think of it? Firstly, it did some stuff that really fucking irritated me. Like in the first half hour, like there's a point of view shot where you're seeing Master Chief holding the gun for a bit of shooting.
I love it when he holds the gun.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Favourite bit.
Fuck that. Also, visually, it's really strange to look at.
I've seen little clips. I mean, obviously, and this is just people, you know, cherry picking bits for Twitter, but I've seen like little clips with just some really bad effects and stuff.
Yeah, real weird CGI bits. Like, real strange. Like, cinematically, nothing really works with the foreground and the background. Like, it reminds me of, like, funny enough, the Star Wars prequels, where, you know, when I was watching Attack of the Clones today, no, not Revenge of the Sith today, there's bits where Obi-Wan Kenobi is jumping down on things, but you can see that in reality he's sort of just jumping about a foot and then just moving down. Like, it's really weird. It doesn't look like he's doing a full jump to a platform like several meters below him. It looks like it's like cut where you could just tell that it's been cut, you know.
Yeah.
There's kind of that stuff in this where, the foreground and the background doesn't really work together. The story seemed alright. Like, just that opening like half an episode. I didn't turn it off because I was getting bored. It's just that I had something else to do. And they're like an hour long. For some reason, now TV shows think that they need to be an hour long. Are you getting sick of that?
A little bit.
We were watching, there's a fantastic documentary on BBC called, sort of not a documentary, it's kind of like a reality TV show mixed with a documentary called Couples Therapy, which is literally about a couples therapist and real people going to see her, and then you sort of go through the journey with the couples that are in there. And when we first found out it was 24 minutes an episode, it was like, oh my God, yes, thank God. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm so sick of watching a show and it's like, this is an hour long. I've got to commit an hour to it.
Yeah.
So I'm just sick of that shit, like really. So when I saw that this Halo thing was an hour long an episode, I was like, oh, fuck off. Also, yeah, so it did the point of view thing. And then it did, like within the opening, like 10 minutes, you heard the shield pop. And that beep 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 beep. It's like, all right,
We get
do you know what I mean? Maybe I was just wearing
but then also, why change that? I guess
you wouldn't change it, right?
Yeah.
But
No,
you
of course
don't need to front load it with constant references to the video game to go, we got this, guys. Don't worry, we've played it too. You know what I mean? It's like it didn't need to be front loaded with loads of fucking references to the game.
Yeah.
There's sticky grenades. There's sniper rifles. There's like everything in that opening section. And then I remembered, oh, yeah, as a character, he's not brilliant, is he? Oh, but people get mad at me for saying that. But
he's not
great, is he? I mean, he was quite good in Halo Infinite. Like that opening scene where he's like just a cold, bloodied killer that, is super confident, real sort of... But for a TV show, it is very much... Like, that doesn't really work.
No.
Like, when you're playing as him, it's like, yeah, he's badass and he don't give a shit. And let's go. in a like a TV show, it's like, he's like, oh, yes, hello. Like, well, there's nothing to you, is there, mate?
Yeah, he's devoid of personality.
It probably gets better, When you see his bum, which apparently you do.
Yep, looking forward to that.
It probably gets better from that point on. But the half an hour that I saw, I was like kind of like, I could take or leave this, to be honest with you.
I'm not exactly rushing out to watch it. I mean, I've been seeing people comment on each episode, and it feels like generally they're saying it's improving, but it hasn't exactly blown anyone away. And I heard other people saying that actually this is more there's lore stuff, but it's for someone who knows nothing about Halo. It's not for the people who play the games at all because it adds nothing. But maybe that's just the season 1 setup. I don't know.
Well, yeah, and it's weird because on the one hand, surely you want this to be, this to entertain people who play the games. But then, as I say, the Halo story is fucking shocking. So I fully support them just changing, whatever they see fit, frankly. But,
yeah, for a brand new audience who knows nothing and doesn't need to know anything to enjoy it.
Yeah.
The opening half of that was fucking brutal as fuck. There's some real sort of dark stuff in there. But also then there's a scene where someone gets sliced through their stomach by an elite sword, and it just looks really shit. So what the fuck?
Well, as in like shit quality CG.
Yeah, no, it looks like when someone when people get the arrow through the head hat.
Yeah.
There's a bit like that. It's like, well, you can see that half of it there and the other half of it behind them. But it doesn't look like it's going through them. Where's the wire? It's just so weird. Yeah, bizarre. But there you go. That's my assessment of the Halo show.
It's weird because, this seems okay, but then The Last of Us, that's HBO. So I'm expecting massive things from that one because it's HBO. And they rarely have a dud.
All right. I don't think I could watch another fucking zombie apocalypse TV show, though.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
I know what you mean. MD Krabuffs says, when will you know when you've made it?
Oh, easy answer. When I've got a Lifetime Achievement Award in the Gaming BAFTAs.
Yeah.
Yeah, when that day arrives, which it will.
Which it will, in a matter of time.
That's when I'll go, oh, no, I've done all right, actually.
These guys made it.
I've done all right.
That's when I know.
I mean, relatively speaking, I would suggest that we already have.
Oh, yeah, go on, how'd you work that out?
We're getting paid to do this. Do you know what I mean? fucking absurd. It's
the amount of time we fucking put into it.
I'm not saying we don't earn it. I just, the number of podcasts, like how many podcasts that have people who weren't celebrities when they started them are making any money at podcasting.
And now are massive celebrities. No, I know what you're saying. Look, jokes aside. Yeah, I never thought this thing would go. I never thought we would be selling out a live show in Sheffield like that. Do you know what I mean? That was like a big wake-up call for me.
Yeah.
What are you saying, as a little boy, Dave, you didn't dream of doing 4 hours of airsoft before a paid-for podcast? You're saying that isn't a lifelong dream of yours?
No, it was always Laser Quest.
Yeah, definitely not airsoft. No, thank you.
No, it's not. It's just when we were first talking about doing it, I was like, if we sell 40, that'd be all right. Do you know what I mean? And now I look at that and just go, wow, I've really underestimated this.
Yeah.
And do you know what? I think this is a good show. That's bad to say, isn't it? Is that bad to say? Like, I think this is genuinely quite a good show. And
as long as you're not going like, I think this is the fucking best show ever, all of the games podcasts are shit. That's when you're crossing the line.
Oh, right, okay. So I won't continue then. That's the end of...
Yeah, stop the end of the... Yeah, stop the speech there, yeah.
Yeah, that's all I've got to say then. We are better than most of them.
That is... Probably is true.
And yet we're not big enough. That's the annoying thing.
What do you mean? We're big enough.
But there's lots of shit out there, and I think we do a decent one.
That's true. I mean, obviously, yeah. Like, I'm saying all this, like, you know, would it be cool if it paid enough for us to all quit our jobs? Yeah, of course it would. I would still worry about how to return to like a normal job if it ever fizzled out.
That's the problem, isn't it? Yeah. What you've been doing for the past 5 years?
Yeah,
just like podcasting.
Just telling shit jokes for my mates and recording it.
Yep.
Yep. It is a real job.
If we had the amount of time though that we put into our job to put into this, fucking hell.
Yeah.
You imagine honestly,
it would be incredible.
It's more like it's how exciting that is, like creatively.
Did you see how all those like Twitch stars, they got together and like they bought a house together or whatever, and then they turned it into like a Twitch mansion where they're all like live streaming in the same mansion or whatever? Do you reckon we'd do the same? Would we like? Oh, we've spoken about this, haven't we? We'd do a village. We'd buy a village. We'd buy a little village.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. And I'm going to kidnap everyone.
TCGS village. Yeah. Sean the Butcher.
Why am I a butcher?
That's his nickname.
I don't know. I just see you as a butcher. Don't you see yourself as a butcher?
No.
Give me some quality cut.
Sean, please change your Twitter name to Sean the Butcher.
Sean the Butcher, yeah.
And not explain it.
No one will find that
weird. We've got an episode title, finally. Why wouldn't you be a butcher? Wouldn't you like that?
Bit gross.
It is a bit gross, isn't it?
I'm a total fucking hypocrite when it comes to meat. Well, no, just because I love eating it, but obviously the whole process by which it gets to the kitchen, I'm very squeamish about, which is shit. Like, if you're gonna eat meat, especially being like I really like eating meat. Like, you should be comfortable with the process, right? And if you're not, then you need to ask yourself some questions and maybe make some decisions about your life and what you're eating. And I don't know, I have not yet faced up to that. Put it that way.
Yeah, it's on a list of things to do, I think.
Yeah, just watch things like Meatspiracy and other things. I'm like, okay, I don't want to eat another bit of meat ever again. But
then chicken, innit?
Chicken's good.
Chicken's
really good.
That's
health. It's health. How do you get health back in some video games, isn't it, Sean?
It is. Bit of chicken off the ground. No danger. Best way to eat it. Out of a bin,
straight out of the bin. Love that. Right, have we got anything else to say about when we've made it?
We haven't made it yet, but we're getting.
You don't think that? Me and Sean are quite satisfied that we've made it.
I don't think I ever feel like I've made it.
Why? Even now? Well, just in life in general.
There's always things to do and new goals to obtain. Like,
Goals. You
I was
said
gonna
goals,
say, that
right?
sounded a bit like girls,
You
Matt.
did say
Oh,
goals.
sorry, no, yeah. It's because my quirky voice. I meant goals as in GOA.
Okay.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted.
Yeah, there's always new
Just slightly
things.
worried that you were running around obtaining girls.
No,
No, that's-
There's always new things to do, and like I'll definitely ever feel like that.
Yeah, but
probably a
it's,
good place
it's
to be, I
fine
reckon.
to always
Keep you on your
have.
toes.
It's fine to
Who
always
are you?
have goals,
Who
but
are you
you should
before
also.
I asked you on this podcast, Matt? Who are you? And now look at you.
I was weighing in the wings.
What does that mean?
I mean, you're lucky I said yes, basically.
I don't know.
No, I think it's fine to always have goals, but I think you should also give yourself credit for what you've achieved.
Never, Sean.
It's an awful way to live, Matt.
I know. The other day, someone was like, Matt, how do you find the time to like play those games, have a full-time job, family, wife? You've also seen like these films or done this. I'm like, I don't know, but then also with all that on top of things, I still feel like I'm wasting my time and I haven't done enough and I don't do enough. So yeah, even with all
What
that,
a way
I'm like,
to answer. I don't know, and also I'm not doing enough. Goodbye. Oh,
well, no, I think my answer was I just have less sleep.
Yeah,
but even
I
so,
think that's it.
I still feel like I'm
This
not
is my
doing enough.
concern.
I'm wasting time.
This is my concern. I've been getting sleep over the past 2 weeks.
Have you?
Like I've been going to bed at like 10.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know it's mad, isn't it? 10, half 10.
It does make
I'm
a
like-
huge difference.
Yeah, the next day you're like, oh my god, this is how people feel.
Yeah, I don't feel like
This
death.
is how normal people feel.
Yeah.
And it's a bit
That's
of a
the thing.
wake up
But
call.
yeah, like, I could go to bed at 10 and whatnot and feel better in the morning. But also, like, okay, like you have no. I feel like I have no life. Get home, work, wash up. You watch something on Netflix. Suddenly it's 10 o'clock bedtime. Is that it? Is that my life now?
That's it. Yeah,
why I stay up
because
late.
that sort of 9 till midnight. Like that's me carving out my bit of life for myself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean,
Otherwise, you basically awake. You wake up, you do work, you come back, do stuff, go to bed. Like, that's it, Monday to Friday, and then like maybe the weekends you get some time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
That's why I
alright
stay
with
up late.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
why.
okay with that, I think. Yeah.
Boring, innit?
It's a bit, but not for me. I like it.
For a flan.
Right, that's it. Let's get on to the socials, Matt.
Yeah, so this Thursday, streaming wise, Sean is streaming Sea of Friends. That's the Sea of Thieves stream where it's Sean and a friend. Last week we had Lindy Bailey, from the
who was
community.
amazing.
Yeah,
She was so good. And she was still like doubting herself like the morning afterwards. And I was like, no, it was fucking mint. Like she was proper good, because I know she streamed a bit of was it when she was playing through Dark Souls? She streamed some of that.
Yes,
and I know like people in the Discord ever since have been like, oh, I should do more of that, and quite rightly she was kind of like, well, no, because I don't want this to be how I experience games, like especially ones that I like, which is totally fair enough. But also I get it, because she was absolutely spot on.
Yeah, she's fantastic. So yeah, if you missed that live and the previous one with Cammy Toman, they're both on our YouTube channel. Just search for TCGS on YouTube. You can watch the Sea of Friends episode so far. But anyway, that is this Thursday night, 9 p.m. on twitch.tv/TCGS.
I hope this, like, Sean, I hope you get like some insane guests in the future. Do you know what I mean? Like the guests that you've had on have been brilliant, like that. But what I'm saying is that I can't wait for Sea of Friends is on Thursday. Conan O'Brien is joining in Sean for that one. I love that.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll talk to his people.
Yeah.
If you have Amazon Prime, you've got Twitch Prime Gaming. Link your Twitch account with your Amazon account, and you get one free sub every single month. And you can't take it with you. Can't keep it. So give it to us, basically. Go over to our channel once your accounts are linked, and we'll love your free monthly sub. It makes a huge difference to us, and we really, really appreciate it. If you're buying games either on console or on the Epic Game Store on PC, enter creator code TCGS and we get a small kickback. I still haven't checked whether we've ever received a small kickback, but let's assume we are. Patreon.com/TCGS is our Patreon for exclusive monthly podcasts. April's one's already out with Ian Lee, and there's other tiers, full Nels members, as I mentioned, as was mentioned earlier. And the website is tcgs.co for links to our Discord, social channels, podcasts, TCGSCON tickets, and merch at the store.
Blimey. That it, is it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, my voice has gone now, so that's it.
It's just hitting me that next week's episode is 298. So episode 300 is going to be, what is it? Definitely going to be the Monday. We haven't really spoken about it, have we?
No, I assume the Monday, yeah.
So that's what I'm going to do live on Twitch, yeah? Yeah.
Live on Twitch on the 9th of May?
9th of May. Live
That's
episode.
Nuts, isn't it? Episode 300. I wonder if...
That's the current plan. Obviously, things may move, but yeah, the current plan is on Monday 9th of May from 9 p.m. or around that time, let's say, live podcast, recording episode 300 live on Twitch.
I wonder if Joe's Farley was sharp for that one, eh?
Probably not. Given recent lack of appearances.
Well, thank you so much for living it. We will catch you next week. We hope you have a lovely day. Sad week, whatever.
I hope your entire life is fucking beautiful, to be honest.
Yeah, I really hope you have a good life.
Yeah.
I hope that's going well for you. Well done. Goodbye.
Goodbye.